Very good morning to you. It is 7 a.m. on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Yes, this is Election Day. Welcome to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234. In fact, call us up and tell us if you have any issues voting, finding your polling place, whatever, who you're voting for. Whom are you voting for, I should say. We want to hear from you. 888-658-0234. Sunny, but a little windy today. It's fine. Get out there and vote. Highs today about 60. Lots of sunshine today. So we head to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a first check of the Garden State forecast. Mike?
Good morning, Ken. It feels lovely this morning. There's a crispness to the
Hmm.
air. The birds are chirping, the sun is shining all across New Jersey, and it stays clear right through this evening. We start off a little cool, but warm into the upper 50s, near 60 by the end of the day. 50 right now in Mount Holly, 45, not too chilly up there on the green in Morristown. And with that temperature running a few degrees warmer than this time yesterday, comparatively at 7:01, will stay nice and dry into this afternoon. So all the showers and clouds from last night long gone. Had a little bit of a quick thumping rain come through northern New Jersey last evening. That has since passed. With a little gust of about 21 miles per hour in Tom's River, it's a wind from the west today, breezy down the shore in Atlantic City, 25 mile per hour gusts. That makes it feel a touch cooler, adds a little bit of a wind chill, but everybody's out of the 30s right now and will stay running mild through the end of the day. Through this afternoon, winds could be gusting up to about 20 miles per hour. So yeah, it'll be breezy at times, but even through this evening, the winds stay light, and tomorrow, a little bit more of a gusty breeze from the south and west. That turns our temperature milder, and most of the state will be in the 60s. So a pleasant, mild forecast ahead going into tomorrow. The futurecast, nice and quiet today. Temperatures beginning in the 40s, climbing into the mid 50s, likely reaching the low 60s at times across the state. This shows the upper 50s, but still it'll feel lovely in the sunshine with all of that nice mild weather for the day, running just around average. Later on tonight into tomorrow, those wind shifts pull in some milder air by the end of the day, and then Thursday brings in a slightly cooler feel through the end of the work week. But we're dry through today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Have to wait until Friday night for our next chance of rain, and that's also when it dips down to be a little bit cooler, likely in the 30s later on at night. So plenty of clear weather to enjoy until then, even throughout the first part of the weekend. There's that shower activity coming in for Friday evening. The next few days featuring that milder trend, 64 tomorrow, cooling off into the 50s by Thursday, and staying dry on Friday. We'll tell you more about your Election Day forecast and the weekend weather, Ken. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you so much. 7:03 is our time, and we take a look at traffic, and we do have some of that now. It's a bright, sunny morning. You have to expect that. That happens. And we have an issue now on 295 southbound. Take a look at this bumper-to-bumper mess here. This is southbound 295 south of exit 7 down in Oldman's Township. Left lane of those lanes, the leftmost lane you can see is closed. Actually, it might even be the next one that's closed now, but we're told definitely the left lane is closed. Everybody's trying to jam over to the right, and that is causing what you see on your screen. We have a delay on 206 southbound from south of Drakesdale Road to Flanders Netcong Road in Mount Olive Township. All lanes are open, but things are very heavy there right now. And delays on 208 eastbound north of Fairlawn Avenue to north of Route 4 in Fairlawn. Again, all lanes are open, but very heavy. We have some real heavy delays down the New Jersey Turnpike northbound exiting at exit 46. That's in Ridgefield. There's a half-mile delay there. That is all due to volume. Now, your approaches to the Hudson River, we have a few issues. Before I do that, I should even tell you we have delays on Route 17 now, northbound from south of 80 and Lodi to south of Central Avenue, Rochelle Park Township. All lanes open, but very heavy. Now we go to the Hudson River crossings, and we are told that we have delays at the Holland Tunnel, the South Tunnel eastbound on the New Jersey side. It's going to take you 25 to 30 minutes in that way. The Lincoln Tunnel is going to cost you 30 to 35. We take a look at the GWB upper and lower levels right now. Lower levels definitely not so bad. It's only about 25 to 30, and that's on the left. On the right side, that is the upper level, and that's going to cost you about 35 minutes making your way in. You got more tractor trailers on the upper level, and that is causing that. Our time is 7:05 right now. We begin with some breaking news. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. Cheney died of complications from pneumonia and cardiovascular disease. Cheney served as Vice President under President George W. Bush and as Defense Secretary under his father, President George H.W. Bush. Before that, he served in the U.S. House of Representatives as a Republican from the state of Wyoming and as White House Chief of Staff for President Gerald Ford. Dick Cheney was 84. 7:05 is our time, and the day is here, Election Day 2025. We call it silly season. Silly season is official. Early voting is, of course, over. Mail-in ballots must arrive today or they don't count. And the folks who have not yet have their shot to cast their ballots. The polls opened in New Jersey at 6 a.m. They will close at 8 p.m. Every one of New Jersey's 40 state assembly seats are up for grabs. One state Senate seat is also being voted on in a special election. The second largest city in the state, Jersey City, will elect a mayor. And of course, we will choose a new governor, as Governor Phil Murphy is term limited. Republican Jack Ciattarelli and Democrat Mikey Sherrill are about as close in the polls as two candidates can be, less than a point apart. So it will all come down to turnout. That's why you must get out and vote. Ciattarelli early voted on Friday in Bridgewater, while Mikey Sherrill is expected to vote later this morning in her city of residence, Montclair. That is where we find On New Jersey's Arnold Davick outside Hillside Elementary School, where the locals have been streaming in. Arnold, good morning to you.
Ken, good morning. Yeah, it's been a little over an hour since the polls opened across the state. And we're here, as you said, in Montclair. And so sorry, we're having some technical difficulties here.
One sec. Why don't we just turn your sound all the way down?
There. So sorry about that. But as we said,
All right, you know what we'll do, Arnold? Let's let you fix that. We'll come back to you. We got lots
Yeah.
more election stuff.
Thank
We'll
you.
come
So
back to
sorry
you
about
after we
that.
get technical things happen. It's okay. We know it's live. We'll be back with Arnold in just a minute. 7:07 right now. In the meantime, New Jersey isn't the only place where folks are voting. In nearby New York City, voters will choose a new mayor. While New Jersey's polls close at 8 p.m., the polls in New York are open through 9 p.m. New Yorkers will choose between Republican Curtis Sliwa, Independent Andrew Cuomo, and frontrunner Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani, running on both the DS line, the Democratic Socialist line, and the Democrat line. Though polls have been quickly tightening in recent days. One poll now has Mamdani just 4 points ahead of Cuomo. In fact, President Trump has endorsed Cuomo now, saying that he doesn't usually support Cuomo. He knows him for years. He says he's a Democrat, but he believes that having Zoran Mamdani as mayor of New York would be an existential threat to the existence of capitalistic New York City. The gains, though, may be too little too late for Cuomo. New Yorkers will also vote for significant ballot initiatives, including the fast tracking of affordable housing, which many complain could result in low-income housing being plopped in upscale neighborhoods. Also, there's a proposal to move local elections to presidential years, something that's been done in Florida some years now. That helps to ensure greater numbers showing up to vote for positions like mayor and city council member. And there's a statewide initiative to create a New York State constitutional amendment to allow the expansion of the Olympic sports complex in the Adirondack Reserve. Well, further south in Virginia, citizens will choose a new governor and will vote for state attorney general. For governor, the choice is between the current Republican lieutenant governor, Winsome Earl Sears, a military veteran, and far left Democrat Abigail Spanberger, who is actually a native of here in Red Bank, New Jersey. She's a former U.S. Congresswoman as well. Spanberger was initially ahead by over 17 points, but recent polls show things have tightened up, with Spanberger's lead down to about 7 to 8 points. Much smaller than it was, but still quite enough to possibly give her a comfortable win. Virginia's attorney general race, though, is a bit more interesting as it pits Republican incumbent Jason Miyares, a Cuban American, against Democrat Jay Jones. Jones admits to texting messages to a Republican colleague as recently as 3 years ago, saying that he wanted to, quote, put 2 bullets in the head of former Virginia Republican State House Speaker Todd Gilbert, and he wished death on Gilbert's children. When told to stop, he actually doubled down. It was only when this was made public that Jones finally said he shouldn't have done it, but by then tens of thousands of people had already early voted. Let's go back now to Arnold Davick, who's live in Montclair with the latest on New Jersey's election time. Good morning to you. Good
Oh,
morning, Arnold.
so good morning, Ken. So sorry about that. The polls here in New Jersey, of course, have been open for a little over an hour now. And as you said, we are in Montclair today, where the Democratic candidate, Mickey Cheryl, is expected to stop here this morning to cast her ballot. Her opponent, Republican Jack Ciattarelli, already cast his ballot during the early voting period. Now, the two candidates spent the last few days trying to reach undecided voters as they made their final campaign stops. The two criticized their competition and addressed the issues most important to New Jersey residents, among them the increasing cost of living across the Garden State. This race, of course, is being closely watched across the country, with both candidates receiving presidential endorsements. Former President Barack Obama rallied with Congresswoman Cheryl. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has expressed his support for Ciattarelli. Now, ahead of Election Day, we spoke with residents who took advantage of the early voting period.
All right, we don't have the video there for you, but nonetheless, we're going to get that. That's on us. Thank you so much, though, Arnold. We appreciate the report. We'll be checking back through the morning, so we'll have ample opportunity to get that video for you. But that's Arnold Davik on New Jersey's Arnold Davik, who's live outside Hillside Elementary School, where Mikey Sherrill's going to be voting a little bit later this morning. Thank you for the report, Arnold. And make sure that you tune in to On New Jersey's special coverage of the election tonight. It's starting at 7 as Montclair State University presents New Jersey Election Night. On New Jersey political anchor Laura Jones is going to be with us, and I will be together with her, joined by Montclair State University President Dr. Jonathan Coppell and a team of New Jersey political experts to bring you the race for governor and all the key state assembly races and the one special state Senate race. Plus, national anchor Jeff Vaughn will bring us the latest on the races in New York and Virginia. Again, that's tonight, starting at 7 on New Jersey, ONNJ.com. It is 46 degrees now. It's 7:13. Sunny, a little windy today. Highs about 60. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast. And we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings on Election Day Tuesday. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Ciattarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Tuesday. It's Election Day. I'm Ken Rosato, 7:15, and we will take calls at 888-658-0234. Sunny, a little windy today, but still perfect to vote because it's only going to be it's going to be about 60 degrees. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta. Like, what more do you want, Rosato? 60 degrees in the middle of fall? Come on.
It really is
That's
a
a great day.
picture-perfect day. It's a beautiful day, and it starts off clear and stays sunny this afternoon, dry, just a little refreshing breeze outside, but it's that sunshine that helps us warm into the low 60s at the shore today. Down toward Point Pleasant, 60 for you. Roosevelt, back by Freehold and New Brunswick, 60 degrees as well. Nothing but sunshine, not even a cloud through this afternoon, so it'll feel quite nice even through this evening with sunset after 4:30. There are some showers that came through last night. They quickly dissipated, and now we are dry going forward. And we're dry not just for today, but for the next several days. Even these clouds you see here off to the Midwest, those scoot on by, not affecting our weather even through the middle of the week. So as we finish out the week nice and dry, skipping ahead to the weekend, starting off mild on Saturday, 63 with some extra clouds, but another southwesterly breeze takes over on Sunday, and that could bring a few late day sprinkles. Overall, weekend starts off nice, but I think you'll really be impressed with tomorrow's really mild weather before some chilly weather comes in this time next week. We'll tell you all about it coming up on the 7-day forecast. Got to get those bulbs in the ground, Ken. The hyacinth, the tulips, important to get them in before it gets really chilly in the next few weeks.
How did you know? I put on my little Scandinavian dress and I go out in the yard and plant my bulbs. Like, you've given it away, Mike. Everybody knows it was supposed to be something I was going to post on social next week, but okay, fine. Tell the world.
It's a tease. It's a tease.
I'll be singing Tiptoe Through the Tulips. That's what I do. Anyway.
Do you wear the wooden
You can't
clogs
unsee
or
that.
the...
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. Oh, are there any other kind? I mean, otherwise they're called
No,
Crocs,
there are
okay? Thank you, Mike. We'll check back with you. All right, we got to stop the silliness. Come on, serious. It is now 7:17, and in terms of traffic, we do have a little bit. We still have that crash investigation on 295 southbound, south of exit 7 in Oldman's Township. The left lane is closed, and that's causing quite a bit of heavy traffic there. Again, that's 295 southbound, south of exit 7 in Oldman's Township. We have delays on Route 24 westbound at exit 7, JFK Parkway, Millburn. All lanes are open, but that's kind of heavy right now. We're told bumper to bumper, too. We have delays on the Garden State northbound from south of exit 135, which is Central Avenue in Clark, to north of exit 137, which is Route 28. In Cranford, all lanes are open, but there's about a 3 to 4 mile delay there. And the New Jersey Turnpike exiting at interchange 15E, 1 and 9 in Newark, has heavy delays there. That's all due to volume. Route 3 has delays now eastbound from east of Patterson Plank Road in Secaucus to Route 495 in North Bergen Township. All lanes are open. And we take a look at the Hudson River crossings. Lincoln Tunnel is now reporting 35 minutes. Holland is 30 to 35. And GWB upper and lower levels, 80-95 approach. You can see once again, lower level, not so bad on the left. The upper level, though, it's all the trucks. And that is going to cost you about 40 minutes now to get over on the upper level side. So take the lower level if you can. That'll save you about 5 to 7 minutes making your way into Manhattan. 7:19, and we begin with that breaking news once again. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. Cheney died of complications from pneumonia and cardiovascular disease. Cheney served as vice president under President George W. Bush and as defense secretary under his father, President George H.W. Bush. Before that, he served in the U.S. House as a Republican from Wyoming and as White House Chief of Staff for President Gerald Ford. Cheney was 84. Other news now, the federal government is coming to the rescue for food stamp recipients. The U.S. Department of Agriculture approved releasing $4.65 billion from an emergency fund during the Schumer Democrat government shutdown. Now on day 35, that is tied for the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. While that sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, it will only cover about half the normal amount issued to recipients, but it's certainly better than nothing. The federal government could reopen immediately if 5 Senate Democrats would just ignore Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and vote for the continuing resolution, or CR, that was passed by House Republicans in September and is supported by all but one Senate Republican. spending bills require 60 Senate votes to avoid a filibuster. That's why, in spite of the fact that Republicans have the majority of the Senate, they do not have 60 votes. They require some Democrats to vote with them. So when Democrats say it's on the Republicans, they have a majority, they're lying to you or being disingenuous at the very least, because they know, like everyone now knows, you need 60 votes in the Senate to pass a spending plan. Republicans only hold 53 seats. 2 Democrats are willing to support the bill, but until several more join them, the government will remain closed. And a recent CNN survey showed a majority of Americans blame the shutdown on the Democrats. In fact, President Trump's approval rating actually increased a point since the shutdown began. But unfortunately, people are hurting. They need the food stamps, the program, in order to eat and feed their families. More than 827,000 New Jersey residents count on SNAP for food assistance, about 1 in 8 people in the state. New applicants, though, will not be eligible for the time being for the emergency funds. 721, federal home heating assistance may be delayed for millions. The government shutdown will disrupt the timely distribution of winter energy aid. Vulnerable households face potential cold weather hardships, and state agencies may struggle to manage aid without federal support. Again, this could all be over today if several Democrats under the thumb of Chuck Schumer would simply vote with the Republicans. This is not for a new budget plan. They're not giving anything up. This is to continue the spending plan that they already voted to approve 1 year ago under then President Biden. It was good enough for everybody then, including all the liberals in America, but suddenly it's not good enough for another 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah, they're trying to make a statement like petulant children playing in the playground, throwing sand in your face in the sandbox because they don't get their way. The Republicans are in the majority, yes. We need 60 votes in the Senate in order to pass the continuing resolution. The government shutdown, now historic, today tied 35 days as the longest in history, could be over today if they wanted it to. Once again, a regional federal judge has overstepped authority and issued a temporary ruling that blocks the president's deployment of the National Guard in Portland. The dispute is whether the president can use the Guard to quell domestic protests. Like almost every one of the temporary rulings issued by leftist activist judges, higher courts will likely overturn the ruling. In the meantime, local radical leftist lawmakers are thrilled by the measure as their city continues to be destroyed by radical leftists and people putting federal buildings in danger. And New Jersey's radical left-wing Attorney General Matt Platkin, who never saw a socialist idea he didn't like, has done it once again. This time, he is suing the Department of Education for not allowing New Jersey residents who took out college loans to pay back just a fraction of the loan. Let's clarify what I mean by that. While Joe Biden was still president and running for re-election, in order to get younger people to vote for him, he said, let's just give away college loans. They're forgiven. You don't have to pay back $200,000. In spite of the fact the Supreme Court said he had no authority to do that, because these individuals signed a contract. It's in the Constitution about contracts. No matter how large the loans in some cases, Biden said the borrowers no longer had to pay them back, which means the rest of us had to pick up the tab, including many people who themselves had decided previously they couldn't afford to go to college. Now they were being forced to pay for somebody else to go. In came the Trump administration saying you can't do that. Trump initially wanted to reinstate all the loans, but later decided to reinstate part. But that wasn't good enough for socialists like Platkin, so he's suing to force the administration to forgive the loans entirely, something not likely to be approved as the Supreme Court has already ruled on it. 20 football players from 2 New Jersey high schools are now disqualified following a huge brawl on the field that broke out during a playoff game this weekend. The Paulsboro-Woodbury football game had to be terminated with 4 minutes left, and Paulsboro ahead 38-0. That is when the brawl broke out. It happened about 7 p.m. Saturday. Everybody seemed to get out on the field and fight. According to the NJSIAA rules, any player engaged in fighting or leaving the bench area during an altercation of some kind would be disqualified. 16 Paulsboro players and 4 Woodbury players picked out and disqualified, and they were picked out and disqualified, I should say. They will serve a 1-game suspension. But this is a serious thing, and they want to make sure that people follow the rules in sports. This is supposed to be the training ground for young people to learn to be good sportsmen and women. And unfortunately, in high school, all too often, especially when adults get involved, the cooler heads do not prevail. And in this case, you had a bench clearing brawl, and And I think the NJSIAA is doing the right thing. Of course, many of the athletes would disagree. But nonetheless, this is a very clear statement that if you see a fight start to break out, leave it alone. Do not jump in and try to take part. 7:25, and be sure to tune in to On New Jersey's special coverage of the election tonight, starting at 7, as Montclair State University presents New Jersey Election Night. On New Jersey, political anchor Laura Jones and I will be joined by Montclair State University President Dr. Jonathan Capel and a team of New Jersey political experts to bring you the race for governor and all the key state assembly races and the one special state Senate race. Plus, national anchor Jeff Vaughn will bring us the latest on the races in New York and Virginia. Again, that is tonight starting at 7, and that's on New Jersey, ONNJ.com. By the way, if you're not sure of where to go for the election, if you don't know what polls to get to, you can go to NJ Votes online. You can find out your nearest polling place if you don't know at this point. I would advise also, and all of us here at On New Jersey advise, before you get to the polls, you should take a look, go online for a second, take a look at all the people running. You don't want to just vote for the top of the ticket, as it's called. So, of course, you have governor, lieutenant governor at the top. After that, you have your state assemblies to vote for. There are 20 districts for state assembly in New Jersey, but each district has 2. You could vote for 2 people in the assembly. So right now, the Democrats outnumber Republicans basically 3-1 in the state assembly. A lot of people used to vote in terms of, the old school was, let's vote for one party, like Republican for governor and Democrat for assembly, to balance the ticket. Balancing the ticket is not a good idea. That was something from 100 years ago. Today, if you want gridlock to stop, vote down the line, same party. Just a suggestion. Do what you want to do, but that will help break up the gridlock. So make up your own mind, but you get to vote for 2 assembly members and the 1 governor seat in New Jersey. It is now 44 degrees at 7:28. When we come back, Jeanette Hoffman's in to talk about how the topic of energy is impacting the election. Phone lines are open. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Perfect day to vote. Sunny, a little windy, highs about 60. The full Garden State forecast with meteorologist Mike Favetta in just a moment. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings, seen daily on ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, X, Substack, Rumble, Twitch, and Local Now. We'll be right back.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Chittarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Very good morning. 45 degrees at 7:30 on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, aka the first Tuesday in November, aka Election Day. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. Sunny, a little windy today. Highs around 60. It is perfect electin weather. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. We've got beautiful weather statewide today, but we'll likely sit in the low 60s down the shore, where already temperatures have warmed into the upper 40s, crossing into the 50s, and they'll be sitting pretty in the 60s for most of the late morning and early afternoon, from LBI 59 all the way down to Cape May 60 for you. A little further inland, west of the Parkway, you could get up to 61 in Hamilton, Camden, and Millville. So a lovely fall feel with just a little bit of a breeze. We're right at average. This is where we should be for the first Tuesday in November. There's your sunset, 4:49 p.m. So a little early heading into the late part of the fall season. Notice all of these gusts that right now are on the order of 20, 25 miles per hour. A little breezy this morning with the wind from the west, but today I think that's what we'll see as a peak. Gusts no higher than 20 or 25 miles per hour. So a little bit of a breeze this morning, but it's out of a favorable wind direction. That westerly breeze keeps our skies clear and keeps the temperatures nice and mild. Into tonight, it cools off a bit. We're back in the upper 40s. And then tomorrow, see a southwesterly wind, and that really pumps us up into the mid 60s, making it feel almost near 70 by the afternoon toward Trenton. So a very mild finish to the day. Might even have a few quick sprinkles there up in northern New Jersey, and then they move on by. Very similar to what happened last night. A few minutes pass by, you get a quick shower, and then we're back to the clear sky. That will set the stage for a cooler Thursday, but not by much. It just dries out the air a little more. So here's our forecast for tomorrow, starting off very mild. There's the warm front to our north, so we get this lovely southwesterly breeze that makes it feel lovely on our Wednesday. The front passes through. You can see that here. Dry for the most part, and then a nice dry Thursday and Friday settle in as we are under the influence of high pressure. Keeps our skies nice and clear. The next chance of rain beyond that should be Friday night, but that's our next round of cooler weather that comes in for Saturday and Sunday, and that could also bring some more showers by the end of the weekend, specifically on Sunday. The 7-day forecast bringing back a mild day tomorrow, 64 as the high, cooler and drier on Friday, temperatures in the 50s both days, and then Saturday sees a little bit of a milder trend again to 63. But notice, after those showers on Sunday, it really cools off. We don't leave the 40s by Monday, so some pretty chilly weather is on tap. And if you haven't had a freeze warning yet in New Jersey, I'm pretty sure it's coming by next Monday night, because that's where the temperatures really dive and go down well below average. So again, southern New Jersey, the shore points, nice and mild through the next few days, cooling off a touch, warming back up on Saturday and Sunday, and then there's that chilly weather that arrives about a week from now. So cool weather ahead in about 6 days. Enjoy the rest of the mild trend, Ken, while we have it, because it gets pretty chilly into next week.
When you say chili, I only think of my recipe for chili. That's all. I'm not
Oh.
even thinking about the cold. I think of the chili. And yes, I have a pot of it upstairs in the fridge right now. I'm not kidding. So, just saying. Thank you, Mike. See, I don't like to think of cold weather. So chili is going to be food for me. Otherwise, I get sad. We'll check back with you, Mike, for the election day forecast once again throughout the morning. 7:34 right now, and we do have some traffic to tell you about. First off, on 295, we have a crash investigation. Southbound, south of exit 7 in Oldman's Township, the left lane is closed, and that is causing, it doesn't look like left lane here, though. It looks more like a right lane issue, but nonetheless, they're telling us the left lane is closed, and that is causing delays. As these people leave that camera shot, it's about half a mile away from where the scene is, where we're talking about the crash investigation. We also have delays on the New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur, northbound from the Southern Mixing Bowl in Newark to north of interchange 15W, which is 280 in Kearney. All lanes are open, but a 4-mile backup now. And a down pole on Route 27, both directions, from West Inman Avenue to St. George's Avenue in Rahway. All lanes are now closed. That's, again, Route 27. And that is between those two towns, again, in Sorry about that. West Inman Avenue to north of Route 35, St. George's Avenue in Rahway. All lanes are closed. Your approaches to the Hudson River right now, the Lincoln Tunnel, we're told is 35 minutes, just volume at this hour. Holland is 30 to 35, GWB upper and lower levels. We take a look at the 80-95 approach again all morning long. Lower levels been flying. We don't know what's going on with the upper. You notice the tractor trailers are mostly amassing on the upper. That could be it, but this happens every day, but not to this extent. Upper level is going to cost you 40 to 45 minutes in. It's only about 25 to 30. Significant difference on the lower level. 7:35 right now, and we continue our Election Day coverage here on New Jersey Mornings, looking at the issues driving voters' decisions across New Jersey. One topic certainly that has been at the forefront is that of energy, from affordability to the transition to clean energy. Jeanette Hoffman is president of Marathon Public Affairs and host of On New Jersey's Energy Matters. Jeanette has been covering energy in the state and how energy issues have shaped this year's gubernatorial race. She knows about it like nobody else's business. Good morning to you, Jeanette.
Good morning, Ken. How's it going?
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm fine. I'm just realizing it. Did we ever talk together? Yeah, I think one time we talked live on the air
Oh,
together,
yeah.
like way back, right? Yeah. But otherwise, I do watch your show. Energy Matters is great, and it is so timely and essential right now. It is probably the most important issue, if not the top two in the state on election day, right?
Yeah, besides taxes, it's the number one issue. And it's unusual to be the number one issue in a gubernatorial campaign because if you go back
Mhm.
past years, usually energy rates are pretty consistent. They stay the same. But what happened this year in the summer, May of 2025, the Board of Public Utilities approved a rate increase of 20%. So New Jersey energy bills, electric bills skyrocketed over the summer. 20% and more in some cases. Mine's much more. I don't know about yours, Ken, but it's really
Yeah.
through the roof. So people are rightfully so saying, what happened, New Jersey? What happened here? So I'll tell you what happened. New Jersey, we used to import our own energy. We were energy independent, but now we're buying it from other states off the grid, states like West Virginia, which, they have their energy source is coal, not exactly the cleanest fuel, right, that people think of. But it's because Governor Murphy has this energy master plan that stopped natural gas, that stopped nuclear, and instead bet it all on offshore wind, which we know never came to fruition. So New Jersey had an energy deficit, and now we have to import it at a much higher cost, and New Jersey utility payers have to pay more.
You know what's funny about this, Jeanette? It's not funny, actually. That instead of waiting until the new plants were built, which would have been okay if they wanted to spend trillions of dollars to get clean, which, by the way, wind is not that clean. You know how many thousands of barrels of oil a year each one of those 500-foot turbines needs? They use fossil fuel. That's the funniest
Right.
part. So everybody think all the greenies think it's so wonderful and clean. They killed thousands of migratory birds. Why? You put the windmills where the wind is. The wind goes through a certain pattern. The migratory birds, that's how they fly across the country. They just get into that wind, and as they fly, they hit the turbines. You could look it up. Not me talking a conservative talking point. Literally thousands of birds per windmill every year. So it is not so friendly to the environment. Plus, they're ugly as hell. But at the very
And they're
least,
not
Murphy could.
reliable.
They're
Yeah.
not. They break down all the time. We had a case
Yes.
in New England where one of the turbine blades broke off and it nearly hit a ship underneath. That could have killed someone. Those blades are 200 feet long. They weigh
Right.
tons.
And
So
I think the problem
it
with
is what it
energy is
is.
you need a backup source. Wind is good when the wind blows. Solar is great when the sun shines, but you need natural gas, you need nuclear. These things have 70, 80% reliability. So if you want rolling blackouts and brownouts, sure, go with wind and solar, but you need reliable, affordable energy like nuclear and natural gas.
Of course, we have a time when AI is demanding massive amounts of electricity, and in come the ideas, I should say, of creating AI powered, if you will, smaller nuclear power plants. So the nuclear power plants would power the AI, and the AI would control the nuclear power plants. But I noticed the Democrats, because they like their phones, they like their little devices. They're not complaining about nuclear. Do you notice that, or is it just me?
No, I noticed that. I mean, listen, nuclear, it used to be demonized back in the past, but it's a very clean energy source. It's 90% reliable. So it seems like, everyone's kind of okay with that, but we need natural gas. I mean, that's a proven source. Unfortunately, Governor Murphy shut down natural gas pipelines. He shut down the modernization of natural gas. And unfortunately, you also don't hear gubernatorial candidate Mikey Sherrill talk very much about natural gas. And that's because the environmentalists have demonized natural gas, just like they demonized nuclear in the past. These are clean energy sources, and New Jersey needs them if we want to get back to affordability and reliability in our energy.
Yeah, I mean, when you burn LNG, the liquid gas, when you burn that, the natural gas, it basically puts out water. So
Yeah.
it's a very clean energy source. It doesn't put soot in the air. It burns clean. As you know, when they have an overage of it, they just burn it right into the air because that's the cleanest way to get rid of it, to burn it. So, and we have so much of it. We have more natural gas in this country than anywhere else on earth. But no, because I'm sure there's a little of this going into the pockets of a lot of the politicians. They have to have solar, wind, solar, wind. It's like a mantra for them.
Well, and not to mention that the left is very afraid of their far left progressive environmentalist constituencies. So they very much feel like they can't step out of line with them. So unfortunately, that's who's creating that agenda on the left. But fortunately, there's common sense, I think, prevailing. Jack Ciattarelli has said if he is governor, he'll bring back natural gas, he'll bring back nuclear, he'll get us out of the regional greenhouse initiative, Reggie, which is basically a carbon tax. It doesn't make our environment any cleaner. So we do have a pathway forward there.
And we just heard from Bill Gates the other day that the whole environmental scare is all BS, which we've known all along. And now all of a sudden, because he knows he'll get probably get threatened, his life threatened by the extreme environmentalists. So he sort of couched it. First, he came out and said, well, it's not an existential threat. Now he's saying, well, we should still clean the environment, but. So now they acknowledge, because remember, in the year 2000, the water levels were supposed to rise all over the country, and everybody within 100 miles of the coast was supposed to be underwater. So somehow that didn't happen. Jeanette, I
We're
adore
still
you.
here.
I watch. Yes, somehow, I have my little swimmy fins on. No one sees them. Jeanette Hoffman, president of Marathon Public Affairs, host of On New Jersey's Energy Matters. Fantastic. I watch you on Fox News, too. I see you everywhere. You're amazing. I don't know how you do it. Thank you
Thanks,
for coming
Ken.
on. You are one of my faves. And same with Pam, our director. She always says, oh, Jeanette's here. Yay. We love having you on.
It's always great to be with you. Have a great election day. I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Thank you.
Okay.
7:42, and be
Bye-bye.
sure to tune into On New Jersey's special coverage of the election tonight, starting at 7, as Montclair State University presents New Jersey Election Night. On New Jersey political anchor Laura Jones and I will be with Montclair State University President Dr. Jonathan Capel. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're coming right back.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Ciattarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 7:45 Election Day Tuesday, taking your calls at 888-658-0234. Sunny, a little windy today, not so bad at all, a lot. High's about 60. Right to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. I love saying that. Not too bad a lot. Or
Not
as
too
Joe
bad a
Nolan
lot.
used to say, Channel
That was
7,
his. I
Joe
was going to
Nolan,
say.
he used to say it doesn't suck a lot. That was his line.
Doesn't. Oh, okay. Not. Yeah,
I was
I
trying to be
remember
a
it
little
well.
nicer.
By the way, shared the interview online of you, Joe Nolan, and Bill Evans with a few friends, and they said it was so nostalgic. It brought back these wonderful memories. So thank you for posting that, because it
Thank you.
really was. It was great to kind of go back in time and kind of relive those wonderful mornings, right? Because what's better than turning on the TV at 5 a.m. and seeing a bunch of kind of like your family, if you will, there
The-
chatting and having a good time.
They're the only two people who can talk me under the table. That's the only time you will see me not able to get a word in edgewise. Just saying. Go back and look. You'll see. I think I said 6
Right.
things, and that's not me.
but some great stories there. Very entertaining. It was
Yes.
a great. And if you haven't seen it, gotta head over to the ONNJ New Jersey website and click on that because
Thank
it
you.
was very nice to see. If you're out and about today, hope you're voting because there's some great weather to do so. Even if there is a line, you have to stand in one. Look at these temperatures. Upper 50s, with in the sunshine, that'll feel great. Yeah, it'll be a little breezy at times, but overall could be worse considering 58-degree high over in West Milford and Wayne, 59 in Sussex, 58 in Newton. Lots of sun today. Feeling pretty nice in through this evening. Now with the sun setting at 4:49, there is a cooler trend ahead throughout tonight, as is the case for the first almost 3 weeks of November. Cooler than average weather taking over for much of the Northeast. Out toward the West and Midwest, a little bit warmer there. If you have travel plans, expecting warmer and drier weather. But here in New Jersey, a little bit wetter than average with some increased chance for rain. As it's been so dry, well, we're starting to reverse that trend in a positive direction. So plenty of clear sky taking over with the dry weather for the next several days after the rain that came through yesterday and last night. Now we turn milder tomorrow, drier through tomorrow as well. It's Thursday and Friday that sees a little bit of a dip in temperatures, mid-50s as a high, and then by Saturday warm it back up briefly before cooling off significantly going into Sunday and Monday. That is the beginning of what will really feel like a late November, early December type chill that's on the way for about a week from now. So enjoy the milder trend again. Mid-60s at the shore tomorrow will feel lovely. Yes, it'll be a little breezy with that southwesterly wind, even at the beaches tomorrow, with that wind coming right up along the beach from the south. But still, it stays clear throughout Thursday and Friday with those highs running just about average. It's Saturday and Sunday, sees a little bit of a cooling trend again. Chance of rain for late Sunday, and then there's the chilly weather that comes in by Monday, starting off in the upper 30s, climbing into the low 50s only. Again, most of New Jersey may not even leave the 40s by next Monday. So I think Monday night into Tuesday, a week from now, we'll start to see those freeze warnings come up, and that'll be the end of the growing season. Have to make sure all the sensitive plants are in by then. So have a few more days left, Ken, of the outdoor potted plants, and then they either got to come inside or they go right in the compost pile.
Well, if they're sensitive plants, there's a way to tell, right? You
What's
go
that?
up and you say, "Hey, dope." And if it starts to cry, it's a sensitive plant. If it doesn't cry, then you could leave it out a couple of more weeks. This is why all my plants are dead. I'm just saying. This is the dad joke in me. Even though I am not a father,
Okay,
thankfully,
right.
because I don't know how any child would survive in my household. But nonetheless, just saying. Uh, I'll move it along. Mike, thank you, sir. Always a pleasure. It is
Good.
45 degrees now in northern New Jersey. 40. I don't know why he puts up with me. He's such a good man. I do not know why he puts up with me. 47 degrees in Trenton, and it's 44 degrees down in Cape May. Now you can tell the water temperature is dropping because now the Cape May temperatures are lower. They used to be higher. They're now lower than they are in northern New Jersey. And in terms of traffic, we have a down pole now, Route 27, both directions from West Inman Avenue to St. George's Avenue, Rahway. All lanes are closed there. We go over to 280 in Newark by the Jersey Turnpike, by that interchange. So this is actually 280 here. You can see that sun glare definitely impacting the traffic, I'm sure. But they're saying here that there's a disabled vehicle at this interchange, and the left lane is blocked up ahead. So that's causing everybody to kind of jam up and slow down, especially as they're driving into the sun glare. That never helps. On 295, we have a crash investigation now southbound, just south of exit 7. That's in Oldman's Township. Left lane is closed, and we have delays on Route 138 eastbound from the vicinity of Allenwood Road to Route 18 in Wall Township. All lanes are open, but again, some significant delays there. Over to the Hudson River crossings, we are told now that the Lincoln Tunnel approach is extremely heavy. We're told it's about 35 minutes across on the Lincoln, or in the Lincoln. Holland Tunnel is about 25 to 30. GWB upper and lower level. Take a look at this strange situation. We don't usually see just one side giving us issues, but the upper level all morning long has been a mess. They're not telling us there's anything wrong there, but something's going on. Well, actually, now it says delays upper level, all lane. Yeah, it's not saying what's going on. It just says that there are delays on the upper level. That's what they're telling me. All right. So we don't know why, but it's nonetheless going to cost you about 40 minutes in on the upper level. It's only about 25 on the lower. So head to the lower if you can. That's the left side of your screen to make your way into Manhattan. 7:51, and we begin with breaking news. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. Cheney died of complications from pneumonia and cardiovascular disease. Cheney served as vice president under President George W. Bush and as defense secretary under his father, President George H.W. Bush. Before that, he served in the U.S. House as a Republican from Wyoming and as White House Chief of Staff for President Gerald Ford. Dick Cheney was 84. 7:52. The day is here. Election Day 2025. Early voting over. Mail-in ballots must arrive today or they will not count. And the folks who have not yet have their shot to cast their ballots. The polls opened in New Jersey at 6 a.m. They will close at 8 p.m. So you have 12 hours and 7 minutes from now to get your vote in. Every one of New Jersey's 40 state assembly seats are up for grabs. One state Senate seat. It's a special seat being voted on in a special election. The second largest city in the state, Jersey City, will elect a mayor. And of course, we will choose a new governor and lieutenant governor, as Governor Phil Murphy is term limited. Republican Jack Ciattarelli and Democrat Mikey Sherrill are about as close in the polls as two candidates can be, less than a point apart. So it will all come down to turnout. Ciattarelli early voted on Friday in Bridgewater. Today, or at this hour, right now, he's in Succossana, New Jersey, while Mikey Sherrill is expected to vote later this morning in her city of residence, Montclair. We're stationed there, and we will, of course, bring that to you when it happens. She's expected to be there about an hour and 15 minutes from now. 7:53, New Jersey is not the only place where folks are voting. In nearby New York City, voters will choose a new mayor. While New Jersey's polls close at 8 p.m., the polls in New York are open through 9 p.m. New Yorkers will choose between Republican Curtis Sliwa, Independent Andrew Cuomo, and frontrunner Democratic Socialist and Democrat, he's running on both lines, Zoran Mamdani. The polls have not been quickly tightening, or have been, I should say, quickly tightening in recent days. One poll now has Mamdani's lead shrunk to just 4 points. He's only 4 points ahead of Cuomo. But the gains may be too little too late for Cuomo. New Yorkers will also vote for significant ballot initiatives, including the fast tracking of affordable housing, which many complain could result in low-income housing being plopped in upscale neighborhoods throughout the state of New York. Also, there's a proposal to move local elections to presidential years, something that was done in Florida some years ago. That helps to ensure greater numbers showing up to vote for positions like mayor and city council member. And there's a statewide initiative to create a New York State constitutional amendment to allow for the expansion of the Olympic sports complex in the Adirondack Forest Preserve. 7:54 and further south a bit in Virginia, citizens will choose a new governor and lieutenant governor there and will vote for state attorney general. For governor, the choice is between the current Republican Lieutenant Governor, Winsome Earl Sears, who is herself a military veteran, and far-left Democrat Abigail Spanberger, a former congresswoman. And by the way, she's a native of right here in Red Bank, New Jersey. Spanberger was initially ahead by over 17 points, but recent polls show that lead has shrunk significantly. She is still significantly in the lead, but down to about 7 to 8 points. Much smaller than it was, but still quite enough to possibly give her a comfortable win. Virginia's Attorney General race is a bit more interesting as it pits Republican incumbent Jason Miyares against Democrat Jay Jones. Jones admits to texting messages to a Republican colleague as recently as 2023, saying that he wanted to, quote, put 2 bullets in the head of former Virginia Republican State House Speaker Todd Gilbert, and he wished death on Gilbert's children. When told to stop by the person to whom he was texting, he doubled down. It was only when this was made public that Jones finally said he shouldn't have done it, but by then the damage was done. Tens of thousands of people had already early voted. Be sure to tune into On New Jersey's special coverage of the election night tonight, starting at 7, as Montclair State University presents New Jersey Election Night. On New Jersey political anchor Laura Jones and I will be joined by Montclair State University President Dr. Jonathan Capel and a team of New Jersey political experts to bring you the race for governor and all the key state assembly races and the one special state Senate race. Plus, national anchor Jeff Vaughn will bring us the latest on the races in New York and Virginia. Also, there are some special races happening in California. We have redistricting going on there. Again, this is all starting tonight, 7 p.m. on New Jersey. You could stream it at ONNJ.com and also on another 15 different social media platforms. It is coming up on 7:57, and we have sunshine today. It's going to be a little windy as well, but you know what? It's going to be perfect for voting because you don't want to sweat when you go out to vote, right? You want to go out and be comfortable. So it's going to be perfect to get out and do your voting. When we come back, we will take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Full Garden State forecast in a moment, too, with meteorologist Mike Favetta. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We are seen daily on ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News On, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And we're now streamed live on Substack, Rumble, Twitch, and Local Now. Local Now is a cool platform. You go there and you have it's like an aggregator channel. You have all these different channels at your fingertips, and it's absolutely free. Check it out, Local Now. Download the app, and you can do it on your phone or your smart TV. It is 7:58. We're coming right back.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Chittarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, taking your calls at 888-658-0234. Tell us if you voted. Tell us if you're having problems finding your polling place. Tell us anything you want. Tell us if you're going to help drive your friends to the polling places. We want to hear from you. 888-658-0234. Sunny, a little windy today. Highs about 60. I say that's perfect voting weather. We head to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a check of the Garden State forecast. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. It is ideal this morning. We've got lovely temperatures and warming sunshine that'll take us into the low 60s as soon as 11 a.m. So there's a fast warm up in Newark where we start off right now at 8 a.m. at 52 degrees, only 48 in Sussex. That's pretty mild for Sussex County, given how typically it turns much chillier this time of year. Well, you're running about 11 degrees warmer than this time yesterday up in Sussex, New Jersey, down toward Long Branch. Same temperature as it was yesterday, slightly cooler in Toms River, but overall feeling mild comparatively to yesterday. So it'll be a milder trend, obviously, thanks to all that clear sky. The sunshine really warming us up this morning with the nice dry weather around. And with a little bit of a breeze this morning, it's not the sustained winds that are an issue, but the occasional gust up to about 15, 20 miles per hour. You see 21 mile per hour gust there in Toms River and a 20 mile per hour gust in Hackensack. That makes it feel a touch cooler, drops the wind chill by a few degrees this morning. Through this afternoon, though, it's that favorable wind direction out of the west that will keep our skies clear, keep the weather feeling mild, and keep all of the clouds at bay. So lots of sunshine through this afternoon, sunset about 10 to 5 this evening. And then tomorrow morning, starting off nice and mild as well with a southwesterly wind component, that will drive temperatures higher into the mid-60s. Some places could reach 70 down across Trenton and down toward Camden. So a mild day ahead for tomorrow after lots of sun today. The next few days featuring that cooler trend beyond that, especially as we head into, say, the end of the day Wednesday and into Thursday. Other than that, it's a very dry week ahead. Chance of a quick sprinkle tomorrow. It already dissipated here on the Futurecast. But even going into Thursday and Friday, it'll feel quite pleasant with our temperatures starting off cool and then warming back into the 50s each afternoon. So no significant rain threat, I think, until we get to Friday night, and even still, that's brief. It's going to be a quiet week ahead with the forecast trending drier through the next several days. Into the middle of the week on the 3-day forecast, lots of sun tomorrow, highs above average, cooling up off a touch throughout Thursday, 55, and then Friday is 59 degrees and dry. We'll tell you more about the briefly milder trend this weekend before temperatures take a nosedive about a week from now, Ken. The chilly weather, that's ahead on the 7-day. It's coming up in just a few minutes.
You see my pouty lip?
I see the pouty lip.
That's because I don't
But
like
it
to
could
hear
turn
the
into the
chilly
chili
weather
lip,
coming.
and that is the chili that's
Yeah,
instead
that's
is in your
true.
fridge. So good, chicken soup weather ahead. Look at it that way.
Ooh. All right, so that's what I'll have to do after we're done with election coverage. I'll make a big pot of chicken soup. Done. Mike, it's always a pleasure, sir. Thank you. We have 45 degrees right now, northern New Jersey. It's 50 in Trenton, or as they say locally, Trenton, and we have 46 degrees down at Cape May. A little breezy today, but beautiful nonetheless. In terms of traffic, we have a down pole now, Route 27, both directions from West Inman Avenue to St. George's Avenue, Rahway. All lanes are closed there. Let's take a look at the 495 approach. It's the Helix at, look at that. Yeesh, that's the North Bergen area. So right now, that's bumper to bumper, as you can see. A lot of that is because you're facing east and you got that brilliant, bright east sunshine. You see the hard shadows going behind the vehicles, but that's causing everybody to go real slowly. So the service road is on the right there. The actual highway 495 is in the middle, and you can see the bus lane on the left side of those slow cars. That's probably your better bet to get in right now. Other crossings and that takes you, by the way, right to the Lincoln Tunnel. That's about a 3/4 mile. They call it the helix because helix in Latin means snail shell or snail. So the helix curls around like a snail shell, and that's why that's called that. The other approaches right now, the Holland Tunnel is only about 25 minutes, and Lincoln's going to cost you about 40. And the GWB upper and lower level, we've seen kind of a mess all morning that has now cleared up. That's amazing. For an hour and a half, we had traffic on the upper level, which was to the right, over the 0234 numbers on your screen. Now that's all wide open. We're told it's only 25 minutes in. GWB. 8:05 is our time. We begin with breaking news. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. Cheney died of complications from pneumonia and cardiovascular disease. Cheney served as vice president under President George W. Bush and as defense secretary under his father, President George H.W. Bush. Before that, he served in the U.S. House as a Republican from Wyoming and as White House Chief of Staff of President Gerald Ford. Dick Cheney was 84. Well, the day is here, Election Day 2025. Early voting is over. Mail-in ballots must arrive today or they do not count. It's not about just postmarking them today. They have to be there today. And the folks who haven't yet have their shot to cast their ballots. The polls opened in New Jersey 6 a.m. They will close at 8 p.m. Every one of New Jersey's 40 state assembly seats are up for grabs. One state Senate seat is being voted on in a special election. We should mention for the state assembly, each district gets to vote for two people. You have two state assembly representatives in each district. So if you see a bunch of names, you get to vote for two. The second largest city in the state, Jersey City, will elect a mayor. And of course, we will choose a new governor, as Governor Phil Murphy is term limited. Republican Jack Ciattarelli and Democrat Mikey Sherrill are about as close in the polls as two candidates can be, less than a point apart. It all comes down to turnout. Ciattarelli early voted Friday in Bridgewater. Mikey Sherrill expected to vote just about an hour from now in her city of residence, Montclair. And that is where we find On New Jersey's Arnold Davick outside Hillside Elementary School, where the locals have been streaming in. Arnold, good morning to you.
Ken, good morning. Yeah, it's a little cold out here, but that's not stopping people from showing up to vote. We've been speaking to people, and we've seen people on both sides supporting both candidates. Listen to what they had to say to us this morning.
Taxes are high, food prices are high, everything is rising, and our salaries aren't going up. I think we need a change, and I am voting for Jack Ciattarelli. I think he's a better candidate. He has more experience in the business world than Mikey Sherrill, and I'm a registered Democrat, but I'm voting Republican.
What your vote today?
It's important to vote no matter what. It's our right. People all over the world are fighting for the vote, and we have it and people don't use it, and it's not right.
I am voting for Mikey Sherrill today. I think for me it's really important to address, healthcare, education systems here in New Jersey, and really to keep this state blue, especially on a larger note with this country. I think it's really important to keep this state blue. For me, abortion is something very important. I'm seeing what's going on in other states, and I just want to, keep New Jersey where we're at right now. And I mean, we always come up as one of the top 5 states in the nation with our education system. And, Montclair, there's a lot of families here. Love to raise a family here in New Jersey. I've been here my whole life. So for me, that's very important.
Now, both candidates have received presidential endorsements. Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli, who already cast his vote, he received the endorsement of President Trump. Meanwhile, the Democratic candidate, Mikey Sherrill, received the support of former President Obama, who rallied with her over the weekend. Of course, this is an election here that is very important, and one that many people are watching even across the nation. Ken?
All right. Thank you so much. On New Jersey's Arnold Davik live in Montclair. In just about an hour from now, Mikey Sherrill's expected to be right where you are to vote. So hopefully we'll catch her on the way in the door. We appreciate you, Arnold. Thank you. It is 8:09 right now, and New Jersey is not the only place where folks are voting. In nearby New York City, voters will choose a new mayor. While New Jersey's polls close at 8 p.m., the polls in New York are open through 9. New Yorkers will choose between Republican Curtis Sliwa, Independent Andrew Cuomo, and frontrunner Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani, though polls have been quickly tightening in recent days. One poll now has Mamdani down to just 4 points ahead of Cuomo, nonetheless still ahead. The gains may be too little too late, though, for Cuomo. New Yorkers will also vote for significant ballot initiatives, including the fast tracking of affordable housing, which many complain could result in low-income housing being plopped in upscale neighborhoods. Also, there's a proposal to move local elections to presidential years. Good idea, because people who don't like to come out and vote on off years like this, they can vote when they vote for president for other things like mayor and city council, things like that. They've been doing that in Florida for years, and it works. This way you get millions of people voting for local races, as opposed to just a fraction of that. This helps to ensure greater numbers showing up to vote for those positions. There's a statewide initiative in New York to create a New York State constitutional amendment to allow for the expansion of the Olympic sports complex in the Adirondack Forest Preserve. Because it is a preserve, it requires basically the equivalent to a referendum. It requires a constitutional amendment because you are going into natural land, but it's something that would be a big draw for the state of New York to increase the size of the Olympic structures in that part of the state. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the state of New York. 810 and further south in Virginia, citizens will get to choose a new governor and lieutenant governor, and they will vote for state attorney general. For governor, the choice in Virginia is between the current Republican Lieutenant Governor, Winsome Earl Sears, a military veteran, and far-left Democrat, Abigail Spanberger, a former Congresswoman, and she is a native of right here in Red Bank, New Jersey. Spanberger was initially ahead by some 17 points, but recent polls show that lead has shrunk significantly. Still, she is ahead by 8 points, but that's quite a loss of support. Much smaller than it was, but still enough, though, to possibly give her a comfortable win. Virginia's attorney general race a bit more interesting as it pits Republican incumbent Jason Miyares against Democrat Jay Jones. Jones admits to texting messages to a Republican colleague as recently as 3 years ago, saying that he wanted to, quote, put 2 bullets in the head of former Virginia Republican State House Speaker Todd Gilbert, and he wished death on Gilbert's children. When told by his colleague to stop, he doubled down. It was only when this was made public that Jones finally said he shouldn't have done it, but by then, tens of thousands of people had already early voted. Be sure to tune into On New Jersey special coverage of the election tonight starting at 7 as Montclair State University presents New Jersey Election Night. On New Jersey political anchor Laura Jones and I will be joined by Montclair State University President Dr. Jonathan Capel and a team of New Jersey political experts to bring you the race for governor and all the key state assembly Senate races. And national anchor Jeff Vaughn will bring us the latest on the races in New York and Virginia. Again, that is tonight at 7, starting then at ONNJ.com. It is 45 degrees now at 8:12. When we come back, how have the campaigns resonated with voters? We'll speak with a state senator about that. Sunny and a little windy today, highs about 60. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast. Also, we'll take your calls, 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings on this Election Day Tuesday. Make sure you get out and vote. Make time for it. Don't go away. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Chittarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 8:15. It is Election Day Tuesday, so make sure you get out and vote if you haven't done so. By the way, if you have a ballot that was mailed to you, you cannot put it in the mail today. I've had people ask me. They say, "Oh, if it's postmarked," no, not in New Jersey. It's not about the postmark. It's about arriving at election headquarters. So if you have an absentee ballot, a mail-in ballot, etc., and you physically still have that, fill it out, bring it to election headquarters in your county. All right, bring it directly there and drop it off. Or else, if it gets there 2 days from now, it doesn't count. So you don't want to lose that vote. Make sure you do that. We're taking your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. Sunny and a little windy today. Highs about 60. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. A nice one to go voting.
A really pretty one to go voting. Yeah, Ken. Plenty of great weather to enjoy. Lots of sun and just a little bit of wind. Not as anticipating very high gusts, but occasionally get a quick 15 or 20 mile per hour gust this morning. It feels lovely throughout the rest of the morning into the early afternoon as temperatures climb into the upper 50s and low 60s. Look at that 60 in Point Pleasant today under the sun. That'll feel lovely. Remember, these temperatures are measured in the shade, so when you're walking in the sun, it's going to feel a whole lot warmer. 60 back toward Freehold and New Brunswick, 60 in Clinton and Flemington. Lots of clear sky today thanks to that westerly breeze. And with it, we'll stay dry, barely a cloud through this afternoon, if any. There go the showers from last night that just kind of skirted by northern New Jersey. Got a quick 5 minutes of rain last evening. And now we're featuring all that clear sky through the rest of the day. These clouds should stay to our south through this afternoon. So headed into the rest of the week, we are dry. A quick little chance of rain later on Friday evening, but the mild day that we'll experience tomorrow will be lovely. Stick around for the future cast. I'll show you where highs may hit 70 in New Jersey tomorrow afternoon. A beautiful day to enjoy with that lovely southwesterly breeze. And then we cool off a little bit for the weekend. 63 on Saturday. There's a series of fronts that come through that drop our temperatures a little bit, but we managed to warm back up to just a few degrees above average by Saturday. Sunday is another chance for some rain later on in the afternoon. Might have some showers come through, but beyond that, it's a very tranquil period until that time. Lovely mild weather, and then we get a real shock to the system. A chill comes in by Monday night of next week that will really send temperatures tumbling down to below the freezing mark in many locations in New Jersey. So if you haven't had your freeze warning yet, or you're wondering, hey, when is it safe to keep the plants outside until, when do I have to bring the sensitive plants in, and when does the growing season end? I think we'll have your answer on the 7-day. It's about 6 days from now because it gets really chilly next Monday. We'll talk more about that coming up with that weekend forecast and the 7-day, Ken, in just a few minutes.
I'm going to put my shawl on just because of you. Just because.
Okay.
Nothing like that, because that's something you can't unsee. Ken Rosato sitting with a shawl on, but yeah, it's not a pleasant thought to get cold, but it is what it is. Okay, fine, Mike. Thank you, appreciate it, sir. It is 47 degrees northern New Jersey, 50 degrees in Trenton, and it's 49 now in Vineland. 8:18 is our time, and looking at traffic, we have a disabled vehicle now on the New Jersey Turnpike outside Interchange 9, which is Route 18 in East Brunswick. That's at the top of your screen, not at the bottom. So you see, it's kind of hard hard to see with all the buildings, but you see them just very slowly moving from the right to the left of your screen. That's what we're talking about. So there's a disabled vehicle on the turnpike outside exit for the exit for interchange 9, Route 18 in East Brunswick. The center lane is blocked. That's always the worst because you have to get by on the left or the right, and the emergency vehicles have to do their work. So that's always a mess. We have a crash on 295 southbound at exit 29, Route 30 in Barrington. The left lane of the 3 lanes now closed. And we have a crash now on 287 southbound from south of exit 5, which is Route 529, Stelton Road in South Plainfield, to north of exit 2, Route 27 in Edison. All lanes are open, but it's what's heading toward us on the left side of the screen that we're talking about. Those people are going to be going into that issue. We have a down pole now, Route 27, both directions from Route 602 West Inman Avenue to Route 35 St. George's Avenue, Rahway. All lanes are now closed in there. And crash investigation 295 southbound by exit 7 in Oldman's Township. The left lane is closed. Your Hudson River approach is now Lincoln Tunnel is still 35 minutes, just volume at this hour. The Holland Tunnel is now down to 25. It was worse a little while ago. It's gotten better. GWB upper and lower levels were horrible before, and now they're great. It's only 20 to 25 minutes into Manhattan via the GWB. So that might be your best bet this morning. 8:20 is our time, and we begin with some breaking news. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. Cheney died of complications from pneumonia and cardiovascular disease. Cheney served as vice president under President George W. Bush and as defense secretary under his father, President George H.W. Bush. Before that, he served in the U.S. House as a Republican from Wyoming and as White House chief of staff for President Gerald Ford. Dick Cheney was 84. 8:21, other news now. The federal government is coming to the rescue for food stamp recipients. The U.S. Department of Agriculture approved releasing $4.65 billion in emergency aid. It's from an emergency fund that is happening, of course, during the Schumer Democrat government shutdown. That's why they have to release the special aid. This is now day 35, which officially ties us for the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. And while that amount of money, $4.65 billion, sounds like a lot, and of course it is a lot, it will only cover about half of the normal amount issued to recipients each month. But it's certainly better than nothing. The federal government could reopen immediately if 5 Senate Democrats would simply ignore Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and vote for the continuing resolution that was passed by House Republicans in September and is supported by all but one Senate Republican. Spending bills require 60 Senate votes to avoid a filibuster. That's why, in spite of the fact that Republicans hold 53 seats, a majority, 53 don't cut it. You got to have at least 60. 2 Democrats are willing to break ranks and support the bill, but until several more join them, the government will remain closed. A recent CNN survey showed a majority of Americans are blaming the shutdown on the Democrats. In fact, President Trump's approval rating actually increased a point since the shutdown began. Sadly, though, more than 827,000 New Jersey residents count on SNAP for food assistance. That's about 1 in 8 people in the state. New applicants will not be eligible for the emergency funds. It is 8:22, and federal home heating assistance may be delayed for millions. The government shutdown will disrupt the timely distribution of winter energy aid. Vulnerable households face potential cold weather hardships, and state agencies may struggle to manage aid without federal support. 8:23, and once again, a regional federal judge has overstepped their authority and issued a temporary ruling that blocks the president's deployment of the National Guard in Portland, Oregon. The dispute is whether the president can use the Guard to quell domestic protests. And the Constitution does permit it, especially when it endangers federal buildings like is happening in Portland. Like almost every one of the temporary rulings issued by leftist activist judges, higher courts will likely overturn the ruling. In the meantime, local radical leftist lawmakers are thrilled by the measure as their city continues to be destroyed by radical leftists and federal buildings continue to be put in danger. It is 8:23, and New Jersey's radical left-wing Attorney General Matt Platkin never saw a socialist idea he didn't like. Well, he's done it again. This time he is suing the Department of Ed. Wait till you hear why. He's pissed off that they're not allowing New Jersey residents who took out college loans and signed for them to pay back just a fraction of the loan. Well, let me clarify that. While President Biden was still president and running for re-election at the time, before Kamala Harris ran, In order to buy some votes of younger people, he appealed to younger voters in college by forgiving college loans, which was directly in opposition to what the Supreme Court had ruled. No matter how large the loans in some cases, Biden said the borrowers no longer had to pay back those loans, which means the rest of us taxpayers, we had to pay the bill, including many people who themselves couldn't afford to go to college, instead went out and worked. So those people are working without a college degree, and now they're being forced to pay for other people's loans. In came the Trump administration saying that you can't do that. Trump initially wanted to reinstate the loans, but later decided to reinstate just part of the loans. But that wasn't good enough for socialists like Platkin. So he is suing to force the administration to forgive the loans entirely, something not likely to be approved as the Supreme Court has already ruled on it. It is 8:25 right now, and as this is election day, we have a special guest on with us. We want to go live to our guest, and this is State Senator Vin Gopal of New Jersey's 11th legislative district. The senator is a Democrat. I'm sure you loved the verbiage I just used, speaking about our state attorney general. Not exactly one of my favorite people. He is. You're one of my favorite people, not him. I like you a lot, sir. So just pretend you didn't hear what I just said. This is Election Day, Senator. It's good to have you on. I'm sure you're very, very busy. So tell us how the campaigns have resonated with voters. What have you heard from your constituents at this point, sir?
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me on. Look, I as the chair of Mikey's campaign, I think she's going to win, and I think that we've created a pretty big firewall of vote by mail and early votes. I think the Republicans still have a long way to go on catching up on vote by mail. There's just a lot of folks who may get sick or go on vacation, and I think that's something that the Republicans have really had trouble on.
Yeah. I'm with you. And excuse me, we're both hearing glitches. Pam, I just want to let Pam, our director, know every time you hit the button, Pam, we're both hearing it. So just to give you that heads up. But Senator, and you're 100% right on that. I think the Republicans, they still don't get the message that voting early is not a bad thing. It is a good thing. Get out there and vote early. It's good for Republicans, Democrats, Independents, because anything, as you said, could happen on Election Day. Anything. Your dog could bark and make you stay home. Anything could happen. With just a few hours left, what should we know about the direction that New Jersey is heading? And what's your sense of where things stand, that you see the strong groundswell of support for Congresswoman Cheryl, certainly. But do you feel that if she gets in now as governor, she will be able to make, say, for instance, the energy changes that she wants with the current state assembly and Senate?
Yeah, I think so. I think she is not Phil Murphy. She's her own person. I think that both sides today are going to really spend a lot of time trying to bring out their supporters, bring out their base, see how turnout goes. I think Jack's challenge has been he's kind of in this weird spot where he's really embraced Trump, but he hasn't really brought him in yet, and that's kind of been the puzzling thing, why he hasn't brought in Trump to rally, because for his path to win, he's got to get those presidential voters that came out in 2024 that helped him. Trump did better than any Republican candidate for president we've had in New Jersey in quite a long time. I don't see in the data those people voting, and I think that Trump's maybe the only one who can get them out. So that's been a little challenging. I haven't fully understood the Chitterelli playbook. Like they're either you go the bipartisan route or you go the full MAGA route, and he seems like he's 75% the MAGA route. So I don't know if he can pull these people out. We're going to find out tonight. But I know on our team, on the Mikey side, we have really put a good coalition together of Democrats, Republicans, Independents. We've got a lot of veterans groups that have been supportive, and I think we're in a really good spot going into tonight.
Yeah, Senator, it's interesting you say that, because and I think, honestly, if you look at the numbers, President Trump is underwater. His popularity in the state of New Jersey, it's 53 against, 47 for. And I bet you, had it been the opposite, had he been 53 in terms of popularity as opposed to 47, I bet you would have seen a Jack Ciattarelli walking around with him. In fact, when he was directly questioned about that on Fox News Channel, he kind of skated the issue. They asked him directly, would you want President Trump to come campaign for you? And he said, well, we did a telecampaign. Well, it's not quite the same thing. So
No.
yeah, he definitely skated around that
I mean,
issue.
look,
Yeah.
if he brought Trump in here, Trump had a lot of people in Wildwood. If he brought him in here for rallies, I mean, it's not about the popularity. It's about Trump has very key voters that are Trump voters, and I don't see them coming out yet. We're going to find out if they do tonight. I think they could have done a lot more on that. So it was more of a surprise. But he's, we see these. He's got Trump is not like any other politician. He has his own following. It's not no other time in our history do we see people walking around with "Make America Great" hats and Trump shirts, and we've never seen that with Obama or Clinton or Bush or anybody else. So that's why it's going to be interesting to see if those people show up today.
Senator, only because we're out of time, we got to jump here, but I appreciate you coming on this very busy day. Happy Election Day. Everybody get out and vote. New Jersey State Senator Vin Gopal. Thanks for coming on
Thank
today.
you so much.
And we're coming right back on New Jersey Mornings. Don't go away.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Ciattarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Morning to you, Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. It is Election Day, 48 degrees now, 8:32. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Sunny, a little windy, highs to 60. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast. Perfect for voting, Mike.
Perfect. Yeah, right. It's a little breezy actually out on the water. So maybe stay on land today, right? Cast your boat in person at the polling locations on land because it really looks fantastic. Even with the clear sky, the satellite picture this time of day usually shows something. There's like a cloud a few hundred miles out to sea. That is it. We are clear and dry. So no clouds over New Jersey right now. That sunshine will warm us into this afternoon, well into the low 60s. 60 over in Ocean City, 61 back toward Millville and Camden, same for you in Hamilton, maybe get up to 59 over on LBI in Manahawkin. So with that abundance of sun through this afternoon, lasting all the way till 4:49 p.m. A little bit of an earlier sunset this time of year, but at least we'll take the warmth that goes along with it. The last few hours show the clear sky settling in and nothing more than a few breezes today. That'll gust at times up to about 20 or 21 miles per hour. That'll be the case through this afternoon, but the wind is from a favorable direction out of the west, keeping our air nice and warm through this afternoon, getting up into the low 60s. Later on this evening, we see a little bit of a cool down into the upper 40s, but we're still dry. A few clouds early tomorrow morning scoot on by, but it's that southwesterly wind. Tomorrow's a breezier day that will push temperatures well into the upper 60s, might even hit 70 degrees across some parts of central and southern New Jersey. Then a front sweeps through northern part of the state, dropping our temperatures a little bit going into Thursday. Might even give us a quick sprinkle tomorrow evening, but beyond that, it is dry through the remainder of the week as that high pressure settles in, allowing for loads of sun into this afternoon and tomorrow. There's our warm front passing on by, allowing for a nice warm day on Wednesday. Then we cool back down into Thursday. High pressure settles in, lots of sunshine throughout Thursday and Friday. And then with a little bit of the cloud cover that comes in by Friday into Saturday, we could get another quick sprinkle to finish out the work week. But the weekend starts off dry. I think there's a chance of rain all the way down the road by Sunday. But we're looking forward to the warmth tomorrow and the dry weather the remainder of the week. 7-day forecast shows a big drop in temperatures Sunday night into Monday. This is after a little bit of rain chance by late Sunday going into Monday. 48 only as the high Monday. Then it stays chilly down the shore after a mild next few days, running above average there. Look at Monday's high of only 51. So the deep freeze will be upon us about a week from now. It's going to take a while before we get there, Ken.
Thank you very much. We like seeing you on camera, Mike. That's why we're making you stay. We're just like, all right, make
Oh,
him
I see.
pose a little jeté, jeté, jeté. That's all you need to do, and that's it. That's
Right,
perfect.
working
Look
on
at
it.
that. It's genetic. It's perfect. All right, meteorologist Mike Favetta, we appreciate you, sir. It's
You bet.
47 degrees in northern New Jersey, 50 degrees in Trenton, and it's 49 degrees now in Vineland, New Jersey. We have a lot of traffic, and I think a lot of it is due to the bright sunshine. So right now we have a crash on I-78 westbound east of exit 44, Glenside Avenue in Berkeley Heights. Look at that mess on your screen. So this is 2 left lanes of the 3 lanes closed, and that is causing the bumper-to-bumper mess you see right there. We have a traffic signal down on Route 38 eastbound, Route 206 in Southampton Township. All lanes are closed, and we have a crash on 295 southbound by exit 29, which is Route 30 in Barrington. The left lane of the 3 lanes on 295 currently closed. We have a crash on 287 southbound by exit 5. That's Stelton Road, South Plainfield to exit 2 Edison. All lanes are open, but look at this bumper to bumper mess that you have right there. It's we're actually looking at 287 by 27, and the reason for that, there's a down pole on 287 on 27 rather, causing delays as people exit. So this is what you have. Look at that. Wow, there's a mess. So this is 287 right here. This is southbound from south of exit 5, Stelton Road, South Plainfield to north of exit 2, Edison Township, all that delay that you're seeing right there. We also have a crash investigation, 295 southbound south of exit 7, and that is located in Oldman's Township with the left lane closed. Your Lincoln Tunnel approach right now is going to cost you 25 to 30 into Manhattan. It's only 20 minutes into the Holland. GWB upper and lower levels right now are really moving well, only 20 minutes in either side, upper on the right, lower on the left. 8:37 right now. We're taking a closer look at what voters are thinking and what's at stake in New Jersey's gubernatorial race. Joining us now is Michelle Sikerka, who is the president and CEO of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. Good morning to you, Michelle.
Good morning, Ken.
Nice to have you on. Busy day, we know, right?
Yes,
How important are
it is.
how important are economic and business issues to voters in this year's election, and how do they impact a voter's decision?
Yeah, critically important. Ken, I don't think I need to tell you, New Jersey, we're pretty challenged when it comes to affordability and regional competitiveness. You know, we've been saying to folks, when you get out and vote today, be informed, be a critical thinker when you vote. What candidate is the pro-business candidate? What candidate is going to put business at the center and have the job creator on their mind during policy each and every day? We need someone who's going to do that on day one, who has an agenda that can get to work starting tomorrow. This is what we
And
need
the
in New Jersey's next governor.
When you look though at what's going on here, we have in the state a Democrat administration as governor. You have Democrats controlling the Assembly, the Senate, the state Supreme Court, 9 of the 12 Congress seats, both U.S. Senate seats, 15 largest cities of New Jersey, all controlled by Democrats and Democrat administrations. And yet you got a Mikey Sherrill saying she's going to come in and make things all better. So how does that resonate with voters, or does it?
Well, I'll tell you, let's remind ourselves New Jersey is the strongest governor, right? The power of the veto pen and the ability what New Jersey's governor can do, not most governors across the country can do. And so even in the face of opposition, perhaps even from one's own party, that governor can be a stronghold and pretty much has a bully pulpit with that veto pen.
Okay. Well, business people look for stability, of course. So how does New Jersey play into that?
Well, we need predictability and certainty. This is how businesses make investment, right? When business makes investment, it's not just for tomorrow, it's for the next year, it's for the next few years. So we need to have line sight to good policy. We can't go reversing course every few months. A great example was Governor Murphy on the corporate transit fee. He committed to the business community to sunset that corporate business tax a few years ago, take it back down to 9.5. And here we are for our largest employers and job creators across the state of New Jersey, back up at 11.5, a promise that he did not keep. That is lack of predictability. We need a governor to come in. He's going to state an agenda on day one, and they're going to carry out that agenda for the next 4 years.
And when you have 800,000 illegal migrants, this is not to pin anything on any one group, but you have 800,000 illegal migrants and they cost $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 per person per year in terms of expenses for the state. The money has to come from somewhere. And though they don't like to talk about that, that is a realistic thing. Are voters strictly focused on bigger issues like energy and the economy, or do even the smaller issues like, say, for instance, jobs or infrastructure, does that still play into their decisions in an off year like this?
Oh, mostly is the kitchen table issues right now. And for business, affordability is that issue as well. You know, you talked about energy costs. I mean, think about a resident, their energy bill went up 10 or 20%, times that by 100 for a business who has to open up a shop every day. Think about a manufacturing facility. It's probably times 1,000, right? So energy is critical on everyone's mind. Cost of doing business, labor mandates, just the cost of employing a workforce and opening our doors each and every day. Our small businesses are being crushed here in New Jersey, and we need attention to them immediately.
Is there an appetite for opening up and expanding, if you will, the menu of options for energy, maybe going back to natural gas plants that were all shut down, 5 of them, going back to nuclear, one of those shut down in the last few years. I mean, is there an appetite? Are people willing to try having a mix in all of the above kind of energy plan?
Yeah, and JBIA has been asking for an all of the above. We have our blueprint for a competitive New Jersey, which is our policy document for the next governor. And in that, it talks about all of the above. We need to unleash the resources that we have. It's about accessibility. It's about affordability. We can all strive for cleaner, greener, and we're doing that in New Jersey. I mean, our air is incredibly clean for what we've done, right?
Mhm.
But we need to be cognizant of the fact that when we can't produce energy here and we import for somewhere else, we're turning on coal plants up in Pennsylvania. Who's that helping? That's not helping our atmosphere. That's not helping our rates. We need to get back to basics here in New Jersey and unleash some of that natural gas you just mentioned.
Yeah, it's not only Pennsylvania, it's also Virginia and West Virginia. We've been getting coal-powered plants giving us energy right now, and it's silly. It's antithetical to everything that we're talking about, right? It's almost like a show. Let's shut down our coal plants, but let's use their coal plants. So in the meantime, we're importing that power and spending money. What's a website for the NJBIA?
Sure, really simple, njbia.org.
Michelle Sikirka, we need to have you on more, definitely, please. President and CEO of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. Thank you so much on this busy election day for coming on today. We appreciate you.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ken, and let's all get out there and vote for New Jersey's next governor who's going to be pro-business.
100% with you. Thank you so much. And be sure to tune into On New Jersey's special coverage of the election night tonight, starting at 7 o'clock as Montclair State University presents New Jersey Election Night. On New Jersey political anchor Laura Jones and I will be joined by Montclair State University President Dr. Jonathan Capel and a team of New Jersey political experts to bring you the race for governor and all the key state assembly races and the special state Senate race. Join us tonight, starting at 7 on New Jersey, ONNJ.com.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Very good morning. Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:45, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Sunny, a little windy today, highs about 60. In terms of traffic, what we have right now is a crash on I-78 westbound east of exit 44, Glenside Avenue in Berkeley Heights. 2 left lanes closed. We take a look at the Hudson River approaches. The Lincoln Tunnel is now going to cost you about 35 minutes in. Holland Tunnel is only about 20 minutes. GWB upper and lower levels moving really well. You're talking about 20 minutes in for either upper or lower level. Let's check with meteorologist Mike Favetta, or should we call him Mikey on election day, with the full
No,
Garden
we don't
State.
want to do that.
I had to. With the full Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike Favetta.
It'll confuse everyone. You used to live in her district. Yeah, it was a very
I did
it
too.
was a yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
We'll leave it at that. Hey, we've got some great weather on the way for today to make your voice heard on election day. Lots of sunshine through this afternoon. A little bit of a gusty breeze at times, but it's not like this sustained wind that'll blow you over. A lovely breeze blowing there from West Milford, warming us to 55, even out toward Wayne, 58 degrees for you, and 59 is your high in Jersey City. Remember, that's the temperature in the shade. It'll feel so much warmer in the sun today with nothing but sunshine this afternoon. So a note about the drought monitor. This updates every Thursday morning, so it did not include that crazy amount of rain that we had that flooded some neighborhoods last Thursday night. So it's still showing a severe drought in northern New Jersey, but I have a feeling 2 mornings from now, in about 48 hours, we'll see the update showing just how much rain has fallen. And this is the live update of how much rain, even including last night's rainfall, more than 165% of average rain just in the last 30 days there toward Toms River. So really making up for that wet weather, and just in the last week with all of the weather that came through and the rain that we saw last Thursday evening. That puts our deficit only to less than a half inch in places like Morristown, Newark, and Flemington. So some good news there. Looking a little bit further out in time through the middle of November, cooler than average weather expected. So enjoy this little mild trend that we have for today and tomorrow. All of the heat should be locked out to the Midwest and West, and that's where the dry weather remains there. Our forecast points to slightly milder weather and slightly wetter weather as well, with increased chances of rain for the next 2 weeks. So as we look forward to the lovely amount of clear sky throughout today, tomorrow, warming us into the mid-60s, some places could near 70 in New Jersey. Then by Thursday and Friday, a little bit of a cool down. Saturday could warm up briefly, but Sunday sees our next chance of wet weather, and that leads us into a big drop off by Monday, feeling quite chilly. through the beginning of next week. So again, last week of mild weather before it really turns cold by next Monday. We're back with another check of your forecast and another look of your live temperatures in just a few minutes. Ken?
Countdown to Election Day, presented by AARP New Jersey. Visit aarp.org/NJ Votes.
Today, we're turning our attention to the millions of family caregivers here in New Jersey and across the country. The sons, daughters, spouses, friends, and neighbors who step up every day to care for loved ones. It is a role filled with compassion, but also with many challenges, emotional and financial, and often physical. And joining us this morning is Crystal McDonald, Senior Associate State Director of Advocacy with AARP New Jersey, to talk about what family caregivers need and why their work matters so much, and how policymakers can better support them. Good morning, Crystal. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Ken. Thanks for having me on this morning.
You bet. And who are we talking about when we say family caregivers, and what does that term really mean in practice?
Well, you said it when you opened up this morning. They are family, friends, neighbors. They're people who step up to care for a loved one when they need help. So if you think about the people that are in your life, most of us know someone who is helping to care for an aging parent or is preparing to, or they're caring for a child with a disability or chronic disease. And they're doing lots of things. They're helping with medication management, bathing, meals, transportation, medical appointments, all the way to more medical kinds of care like injections and wound care. And it's a labor of love, right? We do this because we care for our loved ones, but it takes more than love to care for a loved one. And we know that it's messy and complicated and it's time consuming and it's really expensive. We know on average that caregivers are spending about $7,200 out of their own pockets to care for a loved one, often going into more debt, using up their own personal savings. And then they're trying to figure out how to balance work because they're doing unpaid care that's often more than 20 hours a week, plus working full-time jobs because you still got to pay the bills in between all of that. And so, they are the backbone of our society. And actually, AARP has a new report we're releasing later today, 9 o'clock, actually, not too far away, U.S. Caregiving in the United States and across the states. So we'll have some more state-specific data that we'll be sharing and folks can take a look at.
Yeah, I'm living through this myself right now, so that's why these segments from AARP, I'm a member of AARP for many years, and I pay very close attention to this. I have a 95, soon to be 95-year-old dad with dementia and an 87-year-old mom, and I'm watching her trying to take care of him. We try to bring in help, and then my brother and me. So I am with you 100%, and I know exactly what you're talking about here. Caregiving is very rewarding, but it's so demanding. It takes a lot of hours, and so
Absolutely.
it is so
Yeah, they're
important,
lucky
I
to
think,
have
for
you.
policy. Well, I'm lucky to have them. I mean, they
Yes,
gave
that's
me
true.
a wonderful life, so that's why it's a quid pro quo in terms of love. We love each other very much. Talk about how important it is, though, for policymakers to recognize the support and support rather the work that family caregivers do, because a lot of people just think, oh, it's family, you're supposed to do that, but as you mentioned, it's all consuming.
Right. And I said this before, it takes more than love to care for a loved one. And they're lucky to have you. We're lucky to have them. But who's really lucky is the state. And so, although caregivers have been around, as long as people have been around, they've already been shouldering the burden of what it means to care for someone. But there are two things that are changing that make it everybody's responsibility. One is that in the next 10 years, less than 10 years now, 9 years, we are going to have more people over the age of 65 than we do school-age children for the first time in our country's history. And what that means is that we are going to have more people who need caregiving than we do physical bodies, just like sheer volume of the number of people who will be in the caregiving age range. The second is that we have a shortage of long-term care workers. It's hard work even when it's paid. And unfortunately, it hasn't been kind of a career that's been developed well. And so we are facing this growing need for caregivers and the shortage. And we know right now that we have well over 1 million caregivers in the state of New Jersey, and their care, their unpaid care, is valued at over $17 billion. That's a lot of money, and especially at a time when we're looking at our state budgets and how to manage the growing needs that we have. To put it in perspective, our state's Medicaid budget is a give or take $24 billion. And that pays for a large portion of long-term care in New Jersey and across the country. And so we have to figure out how to provide the resources caregivers need so they can continue doing that job. We can't afford to lose any caregivers, and we need to
No.
figure out how to manage the dollars so that we're investing in them in the future. If that's not enough, 1 in 5 voters are caregivers. That's a lot of people, and they overwhelmingly, across partisan lines, support candidates who work to encourage and provide better caregiving policies.
Yeah, it's just a fact that anyone who has a parent and you still talk to your parents and love your parents, everyone has a parent. You're going to be in this circumstance, and then you have to look ahead for yourself. You have to always make
Absolutely.
sure you're planning ahead. So that's
You know,
important too. Talk about,
the
yeah, go ahead,
mhm.
please.
I was just gonna say the number one personal call that I get from colleagues is, I saved for my retirement, but I didn't save for mom's. And how am I supposed to make this work? We want to do the caregiving work, right? But we do have to figure out, how do we go to work? How do we provide for childcare too? A lot of caregivers are sandwich generation caregivers. And so I really do. This is one thing that when we talk to policymakers and we talk to people on the street, when our members call, that everybody seems to have a personal story of how they're struggling with this.
And it's universal. And I'm 58, so now I'm that age. So I talk to all my friends, any friends from low 50s to mid 60s. They're all going through this right now. And you just, when you're 20 and 30, you just don't even think about it. Not even part of your thought process. You get to
Well,
this
you'd be
age, and
surprised.
then
You should
it's
take
a
a look at
reality.
our data later today because caregiving is hitting across all ages. And so we
Good.
feel it, I think, hear about it often as our parents are aging, but we've got caregivers of children with disabilities, young people caring for young
Mhm.
parents, so
That's
I
good.
wish I could post
I'm
it
glad.
now, but take a look later.
That's refreshing that it's younger people are that it's in the mind. And I think, when we come from the old country in the old days, and it's also different families from different countries where you have the multi-generation in the house. I had that. And then you
Hmm.
have like I had friends who that wasn't the case. And I think when
Right.
you have the multi-generation, then taking care of the parent or the grandparent is more expected, right? But then when you have the
Mhm.
people who are 18, I was out of the house. I don't talk to my parents about it," that's sort of different. But it's essential. But we all know those people, right? We all know people on both sides. What does it take though? How important is it, Crystal, for lawmakers? Now we talked about the lawmakers across party lines. What can they do with policy and workplace protections, et cetera, to provide better access to resources?
Well, the good news is that we have a law that's already made it through, or a bill rather, that's made it through the assembly that is right now in the Senate. And they have the opportunity to provide better job protections for family caregivers. So, one thing that's great about New Jersey is that we have a New Jersey Family Leave Insurance Program. And this program allows workers to apply who are caregiving for someone who has
Right.
a serious illness or condition, and right now, everyone pays into that program, but not everybody
And I
has
don't mean
job. Oh,
I don't mean to cut you off, Crystal, because we're down to the
sure.
last 30 seconds and we have to
Oh,
wrap it.
sorry.
But thank you.
Yeah, I could
No, no,
talk
no,
all
it's not
day.
your fault. My
But
fault. My fault.
we
But this is key, and we're at the end of the show. So I just want to make sure to tell everybody as we look ahead to the election season, it's important for caregivers and all New Jerseyans to make their voices heard. For more info on when, where, and how to vote, please visit aarp.org/NJ Votes. Crystal McDonald, you are the Senior Associate State Director of Advocacy with AARP New Jersey. We're going to have you back on. Too important a
All right,
topic,
great.
and
Thanks so
we
much, Ken.
appreciate you. And everything you said was amazing. Thanks for being on today.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
And a very good morning to you. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. It is 9 a.m. Yes, we're live beyond 9 a.m. because it's a special day, Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. It is an extended edition of ONNJ Mornings for Election Day. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. We have a little breaking news right now I'm going to share with you before we go to weather, and that is we just found out that there have been several New Jersey polling places where there were bomb threats. There's nothing credible. Police have it taken care of. At least one location moved their polling location as a precaution so that police can go in and do a thorough search. But again, we don't want to panic people. But what we find out is there, according to authorities, several polling places throughout the entire state. That's out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. There are only a few where there were bomb threats made. Sounds like political dirty tricks, because if you think about it, Republicans do most of their voting on election day. So it sounds like somebody, we don't know. I'm just conjuring that up right now, but it sounds kind of ugly. Bottom line is, do so safely. We want you to be safe. That is the most important thing. But do not not vote. Figure out a safe way to do it. Talk to officials. If officials say it is safe, listen to what they tell you, and you can get your vote in. But do not let that dissuade you from casting a vote today. It is essential you cast your vote. Just do so safely. Obey the officials. They will keep you safe. We have phone calls we'll take from you, 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Sunny, a little windy. Highs about 60. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a first check of the Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. A beautiful day ahead. Lots of clear sky and sunny weather and calm breezes on election day. Now, through this afternoon, winds could get a little breezy at times, but overall, we're warming nicely through the mid 50s right now. 54 in Newark, 52 and, just updated, 53 in Long Branch. Look at that. Live weather right now at 9:02. 54 degrees in Trenton. Same for you in Flemington. We keep it nice and mild through this afternoon, warming to just about average, running a few degrees cooler or warmer than yesterday, depending on your location, but overall it's a lovely feel through this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies through today. Latest wind gust at 9:02 comes in at 24 miles per hour in Newark. Again, this is not sustained. You might get the occasional gust that could be a little breezy today there toward Toms River, but the key here is the wind direction, pushing all of those lovely breezes from the west to the east, making it feel nice and mild, so we no longer even have a wind chill and will stay nice and dry through the end of the day. Breezes at times could be upwards of those 15, 20 miles per hour by the end of the day. And then tomorrow, a southwesterly breeze pushes up even warmer air that could bring temperatures to near 70 degrees across some parts of central and southern New Jersey. So a really pretty Wednesday ahead with lots of mild weather. And then Thursday and Friday, it sees a little bit of a cooling trend briefly before warming back up into the weekend. So the Futurecast has our highs today in the upper 50s and low 60s, a bit of a breeze through the end of the day. The wind switches direction, gets a little gustier into tomorrow, and then we have a little bit of that wind, which may bring back a shower threat as the front pushes through across northern New Jersey on Thursday. A cool start on Thursday leads to another mild afternoon, and dry weather prevails through the remainder of the end of the week. Maybe extra clouds on Friday, could be a little sprinkle there by Friday evening leading into the weekend. That's just another weak front pushing through, drying out the air even more before we head into the weekend, which looks to start dry and then turn a little wet by Sunday. As far as the next few days, the weather looks dry into tomorrow and Thursday. Mildest day of the week is on Wednesday, and then we look very pleasant going into Friday. We'll take another check of your forecast, Ken, coming up.
Very nice, sir. Boy, you notice the air is a little fresher after 9 a.m. here. Isn't that something weird?
It
I
is.
don't know. Maybe it's because I used my cologne for the first time in 6 months. Just saying. You light a match in this room, it goes poof. All right, you know what? We got breaking news. Let's go right to Mikey Sherrill. She is voting right now in Montclair. Let's take a look right now. This is a live shot. Look at the photographers, the gaggle. We call that the gaggle of photographers, and they are all jamming in there. That's our On New Jersey reporter, Arnold Davik, who's getting that live for us. And there's Mikey Sherrill in the blue, hugging the pollster people. And she's going in to cast her vote right now. See if we can listen in. So what happens when you have everybody using big cell signals? And I say big because everybody's streaming video. When that happens, that jams up everything. So that's why you're seeing this a little staccato. But nonetheless, this is live. You are looking at Democrat candidate for governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill. And this is the big moment for her, casting her vote in outside or at Hillside Elementary School in Montclair. She lives in Montclair, and that's her polling place. Jack Ciattarelli, the Republican candidate, he cast his vote in an early vote. He did so in Springfield on Friday, on Halloween. So he already cast his vote. His vote is in. Today he's going out and canvassing. You're just not allowed to canvass at a polling place, but you are allowed to canvass anywhere else. As long as it's at least 100 feet away from a polling place, you can. So he was at a diner in Succossana, New Jersey earlier. He was having food with the folks. He's going to be making stops all day, last minute push to try to get people to vote for him. While Mikey Sherrill, as you can see, she's doing her voting. I'm sure she'll go throughout the region to try to campaign. We're down to under a point between the two candidates, folks. So literally when we say every vote counts, it could come down to 20 votes, 10 votes, 1 vote. That's why every vote counts. So just to repeat our breaking news, we had moments ago some reports of several polling places. Let's go back to that video if we can of Mikey Sherrill. So she is now leaning over. So it's tough to get that signal out because of everybody shooting video. But Mikey Sherrill's actually filling out her ballot right now. Again, that is in Montclair, New Jersey, and when you get a press gaggle like this, I've been in these many times. The good news is I'm 6'3", and at the time I was 240 pounds. They couldn't push me around, but everybody's trying to get the shot of Mikey Sherrill casting the vote. So we'll see. We'll come back to that. We have 2 photographers in that gaggle, so hopefully we'll get that video in just a moment, and we will bring it to you. But nonetheless, you saw it. You get the idea. She's voting right now. Very exciting. We're going to go to On New Jersey's Arnold Davik in just a moment. He's setting up right now. We'll catch that shot of him live. And actually, they're setting up to get her as she's coming out of the building right after casting the vote. So hopefully we'll get a word from her as she leaves the building. We did get word of several polling places having bomb threats. We don't know if they were phoned in, texted in. We don't know if a note was left. We don't have any details at this point. Nonetheless, we were told that there were several bomb threats made. Now, authorities are aware of it. They're sweeping buildings. They're double and triple checking to make sure everybody's safe. If there is even the tiniest threat, you will not be allowed in that building. At least one municipality right now, in fact, the one municipality is in Lake Como, New Jersey. They have, if you go to their website for Lake Como, they have changed the polling place so that police can do a thorough top to bottom bomb check of the polling place that was designated. So they have a backup polling place for you to go to. They don't want anyone to be dissuaded from voting. This is what they do in third world dictator tin horn countries. And I smell a Democrat trick here. And the reason I say that, and I'm not trying to be irresponsible, if you are nervous, talk to authorities before you enter a polling place, but do not let this dissuade you from going to vote. Okay? As long as you talk to authorities, police, and they tell you it's okay, they've checked it out, do not let this dissuade you. Use your own judgment, but do not let it dissuade you if authorities say it's okay. Let me emphasize that. If authorities say it is not okay, you do not go there. Okay? It's for your own safety. But again, in at least this one polling place in Lake Como, we are told that they have picked an alternate place for everybody to go. So go to the website in Lake Como. It'll tell you where you should go. In fact, I'll tell you right now, Lake Como, it says, due to an ongoing police emergency, the polling location has been relocated to the Borough of Belmar courtroom at 601 Main Street. Use the 6th Avenue entrance. So that's for Lake Como, New Jersey. The polling place has been moved because of a bomb threat, just out of an abundance of caution. There's no evidence that they're serious threats, but nonetheless, you have to be careful, and police are doing the right thing by making sure they move people to a different polling place so you could still vote safely. So 9:09 is the time, and of course, the day is here, Election Day 2025. Early voting is over. Mail-in ballots have to arrive today or they don't count. It's not about postmarking them today. They have to be at the election headquarters today, or else they do not count. Okay. The folks who haven't yet have their shot to cast their ballots, like Democrat candidate Mikey Sherrill just did. The polls opened in New Jersey at 6 this morning. They will close at 8 tonight. Every one of New Jersey's 40 state assembly seats are up for grabs. So of the 20 districts, you get to vote for 2 assembly members. Oh, here we go. Back live. This is Mikey Sherrill live coming out of the polling place in Montclair at Hillside Elementary School. Let's listen in. Once again, you're watching live coverage. This is Democratic candidate for governor Mikey Sherrill as she's exiting Hillside Elementary School in Montclair. She's leaving right now, just cast her vote, presumably, and assumedly so for herself. The Republican candidate, Jack Ciattarelli, already cast his vote early on Friday. That is Hillside Elementary right there. And again, Mikey Sherrill just cast her vote. We'll let our photographer and reporter, Arnold Davik, set up for that live shot. We'll go to them when they're ready to go. There's also, by the way, a special Senate vote today. Normally, it's a state Senate seat. Normally, the Senate does not get elected in the same year as the state assembly. Every state assembly seat is up for grabs. One state Senate seat is a special vote. And then the second largest city in the state, Jersey City, will elect a mayor. And of course, we choose a new governor, as Governor Phil Murphy is term limited. So once again, let's see if she's going to do a news conference here. This is Mikey Sherrill at Hillside Elementary School in Montclair. Let's listen in.
So we haven't seen, we've heard, checked out all the bomb threats. There are no critical ones yet. Law enforcement's working overtime to keep our elections safe. So I don't see any threat to voting, and I know New Jerseyans, so I know everybody's taking this really seriously and will get out to vote.
No impact so far in any of these operations?
No, I mean, obviously this is an attempt to suppress the vote here, and I don't think New Jerseyans take very kindly to that kind of tampering in our election system.
The campaign has certainly gotten quite bitter in the final stretch of security now that it's here. What do you think is the top issue on voters' minds and that is short?
So this race has been about affordability, and that's because I speak to thousands and thousands of New Jerseyans sometimes a day. And the thing on their minds is costs, both utility cuts, housing cuts, healthcare cuts,
Can you address what people have called the enthusiasm gap? How are you going to bring a fractured party to the polls today? You've got progressives, you've got base, you've got unaffiliated, all of them have to come out. What's your message?
I largely think that was something that we were talking about in 2024. We've just not seen that on the ground. We've seen, rallies with thousands of people. The early vote, the vote by mail is very, very good. We've surpassed the firewall we wanted to put in place today, the blue firewall, which is the numbers are looking good. So we just are going to run through the tape and continue getting out every vote.
There's a lot of folks here in this off-year election. They're looking at Virginia, looking at your race. So folks beyond New Jersey that may not even be all that familiar with your candidacy. To the rest of the country, what should they be looking at from your candidacy? And if you win tonight, what it means for the Democratic Party as a whole going forward?
Well, I'm going to work relentlessly to drive down costs for people. So I think as we are navigating what is going on in the nation right now with, as I said, constant attacks on our economy from the federal government and a need to make sure our state governments are running incredibly well to serve people, create opportunity, that's what I think people should look to New Jersey to lead on as I govern. Right now, as far as what to see and how we connect with people, I think it is doing, again, the kind of campaign I've run, which means speaking to thousands and thousands of the people that you want to serve in office and understand what keeps them up at night. I've told people in my state, look, if it's keeping you up at night as your governor, it's going to keep me up at night.
Time is going. You have to make a prediction. What do you think? How's it going to turn out?
I think I'm going to do quite well tonight.
Oh, thanks. If you're victorious tonight, as governor, what's the give up the U.S. House seat? What would you call for special congressional months?
We've been totally focused on this election. We'll be in touch with the leadership of the House to make sure that we're doing that as soon as possible for the people of New Jersey.
You've got your family behind you. I'm just curious, what's it been like for them these past several months? Are they exhausted or are they?
A little slice of heaven, right, guys?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
No, it's Jason's taken on a lot of work here, getting my kids to lacrosse, soccer, football, swimming, occasionally volleyball. So it's been kind of a three-ring circus.
You've been serving now since 2018 in the halls of Congress here. You're a former federal prosecutor, so you served in the military. How would you characterize year one of the second Trump administration and the role that President Trump plays at a state level? You're not going to be working with him down Pennsylvania Avenue anymore, but what sort of impact does President Trump directly play on a state like you and your ability as a governor?
Well, this is a state that sends $70 billion more to the federal government than we receive back in our tax returns. So certainly, if the federal government is going to refuse to run things like healthcare programs, education programs, support the innovation economy, or basic infrastructure like the gateway tunnel project, then we are going to be working here in New Jersey to claw back as much federal funding as possible to continue to run this innovation economy. We have one of the really most powerhouse economies in the nation. And so to harm New Jersey is to harm the nation's economy. So we'll fight back to be able to make sure people here have opportunity. And we really run a great economy here in New Jersey.
This morning we learned Vice President Trump passed away, obviously from the opposite side of the aisle too, but I'm just curious if you thoughts on his passing.
I was in the military when Katie was vice president. I certainly found myself on the opposite side of a lot of decisions he made in that time, but I could not have respect more when so many of the attacks started to come from the Republican Party on constitutional protections, rights and freedoms of the basic decency. At that time, when it really mattered the most, he stood up.
Last question. Anita, what's your big future?
Well, we're at one now.
Yes.
Yes, we're heading to our diner, and then grabbing a large cup of coffee after our coffee shop, an extra shot to get through the rest of the day. So, thank you guys. I appreciate it. The Latino community is incredibly important. Our fastest growing community. We've done tons of work with them. They too working hard on affordability and making sure that small businesses thrive is front and center. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right, you are watching live coverage right there. Sorry about the audio issues, but we still wanted to let you try to hear whatever you could there. That is the Democrat candidate for governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill, outside Hillside Elementary School in Montclair. She lives in Montclair, so that's where she cast her vote today on Election Day itself. Republican Jack Ciattarelli cast his vote as an early voter on Friday. He did so in Springfield, New Jersey, so his vote is already secured. We ostensibly always assume that they voted for themselves. We assume that Jack would not vote for Mikey and Mikey would not vote for Jack for obvious reasons, but you never know. Crazier things have happened. Governor Murphy is, of course, term limited, which is why another Democrat is running in this race against Jack Ciattarelli, in this case, the Republican. So the two are just less than a point apart in the latest poll. In fact, the latest three polls has them a point apart or less. So this is as tight a race as it gets. And in a state where there are 855,000 more Democrats than Republicans, I don't know what that says for Mikey Sherrill. You would think she would be ahead by 5 to 7 points, but she's only ahead by about 9/10 of a point as of yesterday. We'll see, of course. Today's the only poll day that matters, along with the early voting that came in. So we'll see what happens. We are hoping to have an answer for you after 8 p.m. tonight. So we will let you know, because we're going to be broadcasting live. And by the way, I'm just going to ask Pam live on the air. If we do get Arnold live set up, we'll go to him. So just tell me if he gets an opportunity to do so. In the meantime, New Jersey is not the only place where folks are voting. In nearby New York City, voters will choose a new mayor. While New Jersey's polls close at 8 p.m., the polls in New York are open through 9 p.m. New Yorkers will choose between Republican Curtis Sliwa, Independent Andrew Cuomo, and frontrunner Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani, though polls have been quickly tightening in recent days. One poll now has Mamdani just 4 points ahead of Cuomo, but the gains may be too little too late for Cuomo. New Yorkers will also vote for significant ballot initiatives, including fast tracking of affordable housing, which many complain could result in low-income housing being plopped right in the middle of very expensive upscale neighborhoods. Ostensibly, that could happen. Also, there is a proposal to move local elections from off years to presidential years, something that was done in Florida with a lot of success some years ago. That helps to ensure greater numbers showing up to vote for positions like mayor and city council member. And there's a statewide initiative to create a New York State constitutional amendment to allow the expansion of the Olympic sports complex in the Adirondack Forest Preserve. Further south in Virginia, citizens will choose a new governor and will vote for state attorney general. For governor, the choice is between current Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl-Sears, a military veteran, and left-wing Democrat Abigail Spanberger, former congresswoman and native of right here in Red Bank, New Jersey. Spanberger originally was ahead by some 17 points. Recent polls, though, show that lead has been shrunk to about 7 or 8 points, but still a significant lead that could give her a comfortable win. Virginia's attorney general race is a bit more interesting as it pits Republican incumbent Jason Miyares against Democrat Jay Jones. Jones admits to texting messages to a Republican colleague as recently as 3 years ago, saying that he wanted to put, quote, 2 bullets in the head of former Virginia Republican State House Speaker Todd Gilbert, and he wished death on Gilbert's children. When told to stop by his colleague, he doubled down. It was only when this was made public that Jones finally said he should not have done it, but by then, tens of thousands had already voted early. Be sure to tune into On New Jersey's special coverage of the election tonight, starting at 7, as Montclair State University presents New Jersey Election Night. On New Jersey political anchor Laura Jones and I will be joined by Montclair State University President Dr. Jonathan Capel and a team of New Jersey political experts to bring you the race for governor and all the key state assembly races and the one special state senate race. Plus, national anchor Jeff Vaughn will bring us the latest on the races in New York and Virginia. Again, that is tonight, starting at 7 on New Jersey, ONNJ.com. 9:22, it's beautiful out there. Let's find out what your On New Jersey Garden State forecast is looking like for the rest of the day for voting. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a final check of the forecast for the morning. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Beyond a little bit of a gusty breeze at times, it feels fantastic. Sunshine all day. Sunset not until 4:49 this evening, and until then, temperatures stay mild in the upper 50s and low 60s. This is in the shade. In the sun, it's going to feel a whole lot warmer down toward Monmouth and Ocean County, with just a few sprinkles that rolled through last night. That was our last chance of rain until later on this week. So we stay nice and clear for the next several days. Even fast forwarding to the rest of the week, it turns milder tomorrow. The weekend starts off nice and dry, maybe ends with a few showers. But overall, a seasonable feel today with a gusty breeze at times. But beyond that, nice and dry, sunny skies all throughout this afternoon. And then we stay still pretty mild into this evening. We don't see a cool down into tomorrow. It actually warms up for your Wednesday. So better weather ahead as we keep this milder trend right through the middle of the weekend.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Mike. Enjoy the day. We'll see you tonight. Mike will be with us
Yes.
tonight as we do our coverage. Just to say, while all of you are at home eating popcorn, watching the results, we're making sure that it's nice out for the evening in case you want to get some fresh air. If you're tired of all this election stuff for months and months and months, Mike will tell you where it's nice to get fresh air at night. we, I believe they call it bathroom break, Mike. That's what they're calling you. So
That's exactly what it is, right? And it was funny you mentioned before how you used to be in the press gaggles and 6'3", above average heights. You can get in there and get the shot. Arnold Davick, not 6'3". So
no,
as wonderful as a person as he is, Arnold is not Ken
but I'll
Rosato
tell you
height.
what.
So
I'll tell you what, though, you know what used to happen sometimes? Because I was the big guy, some of the bigger photographers used to go after me and tackle me and knock me over, and it was the little guys that could sneak in underneath. So sometimes that's up. He did a
oh,
very good job, if
maybe
you notice,
he
and
did.
he had it. He
He
had
did.
that camera up high. So good for Arnold. I give him props. He's a good man. He's probably saying, I thought New Jersey, he's usually in New York. He's like probably thinking, I
Right.
thought New Jersey would be easier than this. They're as
Oh
mean as New
no.
York. They're as mean as New York. And by the way, there is another term which you probably know that we used to call when the photographers all got together like that, but I can't say it on the air.
Okay.
I'll text it to you.
This is
Let's just
for On New
say,
Jersey After Dark.
yes, you have to subscribe for that feed. That does
Ah,
not
that's
come free. Yeah, that's a subscribe. It's on New Jersey Plus. That's the subscription feed. Mike, I appreciate you, buddy. We'll see you tonight starting at
I'll see
7
you
o'clock,
later.
ONNJ.com. Thank you, buddy.
You
All
bet.
right, 9:25 right now. And once again, if you have not gotten out and voted, we beg you, go out, cast your vote. In spite of the fact that there were polling places in the state of New Jersey that have received bomb threats, even Mikey Sherrill said that she gets it from the authorities that there are no credible threats. Just out of an abundance of caution, you have police sweeping all the polling places now, and any place that had a threat. And it's not all the polling places. This is just a couple, two or three throughout the state had bomb threats. I'm saying this is dirty pool by somebody on the left who knows that the Republicans tend to come out en masse on election day. Democrats tend to early vote. Democrats voted early 2-1 over Republicans. So Republicans, but this is why Republicans, we've been damn it telling you early vote. Sorry to scream at you, but early vote because crap like this happens on election day. It rains, it snows, your kid has to go to the doctor, you have to stay late at work. This is why, if the Democrats like to play the game of early voting, outsmart them and play the game of early voting. That's why you should do it. Now, I like to wait till election day. No, early vote. Let this be a lesson. Early vote. Okay, until we could change the rules. Right now, early vote. So again, the polling places are open till 8 o'clock tonight in New Jersey. They're all, if they are allowing you in, that means they have been checked out and safe. So do not worry about it. Although several bomb threats have been called in. There's one particular municipality, Lake Como, New Jersey, which is down south, where they're changing the location so police can do a thorough scrub. Otherwise, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Don't let it bother you. It is now 48 degrees, 9:27. The special extended edition of On New Jersey Mornings. Again, will be on starting at 7 o'clock tonight until it's all over, until we have a winner. So tune in tonight, ONNJ.com, On New Jersey, and 15 different streaming platforms. Plus, we'll be seen coast to coast on C-SPAN So you can catch us. Tell all your friends out in Montana they can watch us on C-SPAN. We'll catch you tonight at 7 on New Jersey Mornings. Have a wonderful day, folks. Plus full coverage tomorrow. Wrap up of all of the key races here on New Jersey. Have a good day.